oh, you're an herbalist, so you just must be like basking in the glory of flowers all day long. In the way that the plants have healed and transformed me, I want to be an instrument through which those plants can operate through to heal and transform someone else. And that's the ecological function of the herbalist. These plants have completely transformed my whole life, and in such a positive way.
Welcome to the Herbalists After Hours, where the passing hours and the passion flowers, the vine unravels and the seeds will travel, and the arc can happen at the where community gathers, like elderberry boosts and immunity faster. Tend to the garden and the path is ours, coming together to make it better with the
I'm so glad you're able to fit this in with us. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, this is awesome. Well, when you made the offer, I was like, that sounds great. Like, I've just been sitting at the booth and I've been getting bombarded. You know how it is?
Yeah.
It's like, and it's just overwhelming for me, and it gets to a point where I'm like, oh, I wouldn't mind like having a settled moment with someone and like be able to have a like synced up conversation that's not just like, what? Oh yeah, you're welcome. And like, yeah, oh sure, what's your name? Like, yeah, so I feel like a real author signing all these books.
Yeah, I got to meet Tori Amos.
Did you really?
Yeah.
A couple times.
Did you freak out a little bit?
Well, the cool thing about meeting her was I met her in 2017. I met her when I was younger, but I totally freaked out when I was younger. I was like 18 or something. I was like, oh my god!
You fangirled her, yeah.
So this time I was like cooler.
Yeah.
So
Like, hey, what's your name again?
Yeah. So, and I brought her my book. I brought her Alchemy.
Oh, cool.
And she was so calm. And so present. Like, I thought this must be what it's like to meet Alma. Like, just like, you know, the hug.
Yeah, the hug lady, yeah.
But she was just so, she actually reminds me a lot of Rosemary. I think of Rosemary and Tori being, like, they're totally different people, but just like in that same kind of energetic.
Interesting.
But yeah, she was so calm and present, and she asked me a question. Yeah, she asked me, what is the best way to use plants? And she's, you know, and she kind of meant like a tincture or supplement.
Oh, a form, yeah.
And, but anyway, she asked me, and I just felt so honored, like, oh my God, Tori Amos is like being present with me and like asking, and like, it was just a real conversation. It wasn't just like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. And so then I overthink everything in my life, obsessive personality kind of thing. And so for the next couple of days, I just overthought that question, you know, like, how should I answer that question? Oh my God, like, did I say the right thing? Should I say a different thing? And then like 2 days later, I was like, oh, that's Wild Remedies. Like, that's why Wild Remedies got written. Because Wild Remedies is basically me answering Tori Amos.
Interesting.
It's the best way to work with me.
She's your muse.
Yeah, and that's funny because Tori is like really big into muses. Like, that's how she says she gets all of her inspiration. She has all
cool.
these muses behind us. She actually this year published a children's book about muses.
Oh, cool.
But anyway,
You
so
dedicated Wild Remedies to her too, did you not? Or that was your first one?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, that was
she's in the acknowledgement.
Oh, acknowledgement. Gotcha.
But, so anyway, the reason why I'm talking about Tori is not just an excuse, kind of, sort of, but to talk about Tori. But the thing is, I think about her a lot and my interaction with her when I meet people. Because I'm a fangirl to Tori, and then I meet a lot of fangirls for me.
Yeah.
In fact, 3 times this weekend, someone has told me, "You're my Tori Amos."
Really?
I get that a lot.
Oh, wow.
I get that a lot.
But do you openly speak about how you're a big Tori Amos fan, so they know that you are
like,
like...
my goal is once a class I drop a Tori.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
Minimum, minimum. So, but I think about Tori and meeting her, and so that's what I try to do with folks. Is like, you know, it's like I take their their gratitude and their thank yous and their like appreciation, but as soon as I can, it feels better for me.
Bring it back to them.
Bring it back to them.
That's more of a conversation. Yeah, exactly.
It just feels better for me, honestly, because I like would rather hear who they are, you know, and check in with them, kind of thing. So anyway, that's what I do now.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm gonna use that.
And sometimes it's
good.
easy to just be like, oh, are you from here? Or like, you know, engage with them.
Turn small talk, yeah.
But I try to like do something a little deeper too, if I can. Like, sometimes there's nothing, I don't know yet what the deeper question is. You know, so I start with that, like, oh, are you from here or whatever. But sometimes they tell you something.
Yeah.
And it's just that like that you can then
inroad.
inroad.
It's almost like there's like some kind of like threshold There's like a little doorway that you
Yeah,
kind of like,
exactly,
that you kind of like, you're like,
exactly.
how do we get, where is it?
Yeah.
Where's there it is. And now we're like,
Yeah.
now we're in like a little bit of a deeper place than like,
And
oh,
yeah,
did you
it's
travel
better
far to get here?
energetically,
Like,
and then I remember
Yeah.
who I talked to.
Totally.
You know, just, and
Yeah.
so it's just a better exchange, I think.
that's awesome. Nice.
Hey, what's bringing you joy lately?
What's bringing me joy? My children bring me joy.
Amen.
My kids bring me joy. I didn't realize that I could feel joy the way that my children bring me joy. Because, a lot of, like, I actually, to be perfectly honest, I'm actually a little bit of a melancholic kind of guy, right? I have a little bit, I was raised in a home that was like, there's like some depression problems in the family and things like that. And I had kids, I remember when my first son was born, I remember hearing his cry, his first cry, and like the feeling in my heart. and I remember going, oh, like that's how far a heart can go, like with that feeling, and I'd never felt joy like that. So every day it's like, man, it's my kids. Like I come down from my office and come to work, and the first thing is Papa, and they come
call you
running.
Papa?
They call me Papa.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
I call you Popham.
you call Papa. Well, that's why. So my grandfather, I called him Pop, right?
Pop
He
Popham?
was Pop, and so the whole thing was like the dads were Papa, and then when Grandpa would be Pop. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
My kids bring me joy. Yeah, my kids bring me a lot of joy. Yeah. My wife brings me a lot of joy.
Sure.
It's all about family for me, like having kids. It's like a major turning point in my life.
What's their ages now?
Yeah, so the oldest one, we just had birthdays. So oldest one's 5,
Okay.
youngest one's 2.
All right. Nice
Yeah.
little age separation.
Pretty
3
good,
years,
pretty
perfect.
good. Yeah, good timing.
They're
The old,
August, right?
yeah, all end of August or end of July and then beginning of August. They're like 5 days apart, 5 days and 2 years apart. So
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, every stage of raising children is so much fun and unique in its own way. So you're just getting rolling here. Like, just wait, man. It gets better and better and better. And
Totally.
I love every stage. Like when they were tiny babies to now I've got a teenager, and each step along the way has just been magical in its own way.
Teenager?
Yeah. My daughter just started high school.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Dang, crazy.
Remember when she was this big?
Yeah.
So do
it
I.
goes so quick,
It
right?
does.
I mean, that's what everyone says, but it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like each stage there's a challenge.
Yeah.
There's a unique challenge there, but there's also a unique blessing there.
Yeah.
And it's like that both of it's there.
Yeah.
And that's to me why it's so powerful, like the nature of children. It's like, oh, that's life. Like all the teachings about life are there, on both sides of it, the beauty and the joy and the struggle and the challenge. And it's like all there smushed into this tiny little ball of cuteness,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I had so many people telling me, like, giving me advice when I first became a parent. They all said, like, hang on to every moment that you can.
Yeah.
And I really felt like I did that.
Yeah.
And I still am like, I wish I would have done it even more. But what can you do,
Life goes on.
Yeah, life goes on, yeah. Here we go.
I have a cat, so I can relate.
So adorable.
I actually did get to kind of not raise, but be a part of my niece's life, and I can really resonate
Totally.
with that because just watching them grow up so fast and wish it,
Yeah.
We have all these moments. You realize it's like the cliche, like, oh, you got so big, But it's like, well, how much changes in 3 to 6 months? And I think about that as an adult, like 3 to 6 months. It's like, 6 months has gone by. I'm like still the same dude, pretty
Totally.
much,
Yeah.
But with a child, it's like the development is happening so quick, It's really interesting to witness.
Yeah. It is funny. We're all at the International Herb Symposium, and we saw Kathy Cavill, and I was like, I don't think I've seen Kathy Cavill in about 10 years. And it was like nothing has changed, Like we're the same people, just saying hi again. But yeah, the kids, man, they change so fast. It's
So
fun.
much.
Yeah. Just a quick break from the show to let you know about today's sponsor, and that is our very own course. It's called the Nettle Immersion.
Yeah, we're so excited to bring this course to you. We love Nettle, you love Nettle, and there's so much to love about Nettle.
Oh man, it's jam-packed. It's 100 minutes long. There's a 33-page recipe book in there. What else is in there?
Well, kind of one of our favorite aspects is we're going to do a community challenge around Nettle where we invite everybody to take Nettle for 30 days straight, We're going to do a health survey beforehand and afterwards and see how things change, which I think is going to be really fun.
So fun. I'm excited to try that myself. In addition to that, there's also a 20% off Mountain Rose Herbs discount, so you can buy your nettles or any other supplies you might need. Yeah.
We got a whole thing going. We got quizzes, we got certificates, we got a community forum so we can be loving up on nettle with all sorts of other nettle lovers out there too.
Yeah, and since you're an Herbalist After Hours viewer / listener, one of the perks of signing up for this course actually is a micro sponsorship is what we're calling it. And so in a future episode on YouTube, anyone who enrolls in this class will be a micro sponsor for an Herbalist After Hours episode.
This is our way of saying thank you so much for helping support independent herbal media. We have so many ideas. It supports projects like Herbalists After Hours that you're watching now. And we can't wait to bring you more. This helps.
So this year, enrollment closes on April 12th. You can learn more and sign up at nettleimmersion.com. And if you're listening to this in the future, you can get on a wait list to sign up for a future Nettle Immersion.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We'll keep doing it.
We're pumped. Thanks. Back to the show.
It's been really great being out here at IHS. This is like, I've been to a lot of herb conferences over the years, and there's always something about this one in particular that, I don't know, there's just a feeling to IHS that I really enjoy. I really enjoy this event. But it's the first time here in Cincinnati, which is really interesting. It's always been at the Wheaton College, and now being in the city and being in Cincinnati, I've never been here before. We're the root of the eclectic movement, which is kind of cool to think that a little over 100 years ago, this was like the hub.
Hotbed of herbalism.
Of herbal medicine, on a medical level, which
We
is
got to see John Uri Lloyd.
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah. I was really
a miracle.
confused by that. I was like, what is going on
We should
right
probably
now?
tell folks that part of the opening ceremony was, I guess it was like an actor or something. Like you know what I imagined it? You know, in The Office, any Office fans?
Yeah,
A little bit.
And Benjamin Franklin comes in and he's like they bring in Benjamin Franklin as this like, I don't know what you call that, but it's like someone for a living like reenacts somebody's life. I was like, is that what this dude is?
Yeah.
Like, he like reenacted, like he was as if he was John.
As if he was John Uri Lloyd, But it turns out he was like his descendant, I think.
I think
think that guy actually is a descendant of John Uri
Yeah.
Lloyd.
Oh my
Because he kind of looks like him a little bit.
I caught that, and
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I heard correctly, but yeah, I think you're right.
I'm pretty sure that's his descendant. Yeah.
That's cool.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah.
When I saw John Uri Lloyd was giving the keynote, I was like, they're gonna bust out some sort of hologram.
Some AI thing, I know, right?
Like, herbalists are gonna be in there.
Yeah. Like,
Now it makes sense.
for the keynote, we have a hologram of an artificial intelligence of John Uri Lloyd.
Yeah, speaking of herb conferences, Sajah, do you remember when we met?
Well, let's see. Was it Northwest Herb Fair?
I kind of think it was.
I think it was Northwest Herb Fair.
Like, I don't know what year, though.
I think it was 2010, 11?
I was going to say that.
I think 2010, 11. Because it was probably right around when Whitney and I first got together and started making, because what happened was I was in South America for 3 months, and while I was in the spring, and while I was in South America, Whitney was back home in the cabin grinding salts for spagyrics, right? So she was grinding and I was like, look, I've got this trip plan. I've had this trip plan for a while. Grind all these salts, dissolve them, crystallize them, put them back together, and then we're going on the road. And so I got home in the summer, and we got all these remedies, and that was the first summer that we took what at the time was Organic Unity, now Nature Sophia Spagyrics, on the road. And I'm pretty sure we set our booth up at Northwest Herb Fair, and that was where I met you, and that was where I met John, and I've met a whole bunch of other people, but you were the two that I feel like really stick out for me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember meeting Mason? It was like Rootstock?
Well, I think I met you at Rootstock.
Yeah.
The one flashbang
Yeah.
Mountain Rose conference.
Yeah, that's
The
right.
once in a lifetime opportunity.
We're gonna do a 20-year reunion in 2031. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Was it 2011 that Rootstock
2011,
happened?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then it was 2010 that we did that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was what it was too. It was
Yeah.
2010. And then I met up with you again at Montana Herb Gathering.
Montana.
Like
Yep.
maybe a year or so later, I can't remember.
Yep.
So I don't know if you probably don't know this, Sajah, but I have a lemon balm. Like whenever I talk about lemon balm, I talk about you.
Really?
Yeah, you're like part of my like act.
Okay. Yeah,
you know,
nice.
Story. So the story is that we drove to Montana. That was a sweet conference.
That was a good one.
Or whatever it was called, gathering. I guess it was Montana Herb Gathering.
Yep,
It
Montana
was a
Herb
skeeter-
Gathering.
It was also a skeeter.
Okay.
Skeeter event.
Yep.
Yeah, just I love the bioregional events when it's just like cool people and community and stuff. So we drove there and it was just like a long day on the road, and I showed up like super like you know like after that, and I went directly to your booth.
Yes.
You know this?
Yes.
I went directly to the booth. You had testers, and I just grabbed the lemon balm, and it was just like so visceral. I mean, it was just like auric. I don't know. It was just like immediately it was like. It just like brought me back down to reality.
Yeah.
So I always tell that story when I take the lemon balm. Yeah. And so yesterday I showed up at the IHS, and I was also like not in great shape because we've been having too much fun. You know, just all the people and just staying up too late, and I just really wasn't feeling good at all, and I had to teach. And you didn't have lemon balm.
I don't. Yeah, she didn't bottle the lemon balm before we left
That was
somehow.
Whitney thing?
No, that was not Whitney. No, that was not
I guess I
Whitney.
didn't
But
start
it was a helper. A helper didn't bottle the lemon balm.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
chamomile.
well, equally powerful.
I was like,
Yeah.
I could use a hug right
Yeah. Did it
now.
help?
Yes,
Did it help? Okay. Good.
Yeah, so
Good. Good. Good.
I
Yeah.
got the chamomile. I've taken a lot of it.
Yeah. It's strong.
Can I try
Like we
some?
think of chamomile as this like. Oh, chamomile. It's like
Oh, I
you
know.
just
I've been
gently kind of calm. But that chamomile is very powerful.
been schooled on it,
It's
yeah.
really powerful. Yeah.
So I'm kind of
It-
like, but I'm.
So what's cool, and when you get that in a clear, like when I cohobate that in the clear jar, it's blue. I mean, it's the blue of your shirt.
Wow.
That medicine's that blue color.
wild.
It's really.
Not coming out for me. I haven't done
Sometimes you got to hold it up there for a little bit. There you go. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's a
The
lot.
zero droppers are a little bit tricky. So on the way to that Montana herb gathering, Whitney and I were on the long drive to Montana herb gathering, and we're driving. I'm okay. And we're driving all along the windy road. And at the time we drove this little Toyota RAV4, you know, the white one, and we're driving around the corner, and it's late, man. It's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm getting tired. We go around the bend, and it was like a moose
Whoa.
is
Wild
in the
country.
road. I've never seen a moose before. They're fucking huge.
Yeah.
And it was like, and we almost died. I mean, we stopped really close to that moose. I was like, oh, I didn't realize how big a moose is. Well, yeah, that was on the way to that gathering. So I showed up a little frazzled too. Yeah, a little frazzled too. Yep, Montana herb gathering, very good one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, I was thinking about like just when you guys met, when I met you, because
Yeah.
in some ways I feel like we're really good friends. 'cause
Yeah.
we've known each other for so long.
I know.
Like,
Well,
haven't-
15 years.
Yeah, yeah.
15 years now.
But I was just thinking, but you know, we don't get to hang out all the time, which I'm totally gonna give you shit for that later.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's okay. Everyone gives me shit for that.
But I was just thinking about it because I was just like, yeah, like that first gathering, Northwest Herbal Fair in Montana, and like here we are, like doing it.
Yeah.
I was just wondering about, do you have any reflections on that? Because like, I'm assuming that like Montana Herb Gathering, it was you and Whitney doing it all.
Yep.
You have told us you've got 9 folks here as part of your team.
Yeah. Yeah.
So things are a little different in
Things are-
Sajah's world.
things are
2 years
different.
Later. Do you have any, I don't know, have you
Yeah.
been thinking about that of just like
Yeah.
where you are now and where you were then and just the
Yeah.
journey along the way?
Totally. Well, what's so weird about it is that I never really set out to be like, oh, I'm going to start an herb school or I'm going to start an herbal product line. Like that thought never really occurred to me. Everything has just kind of happened in this like very one step at a time kind of thing where it would be like with the product line. I was saying with Matt Wood and they were like, oh yeah, if anybody make any medicines, bring them down and we'll do a little market and you can sell some stuff and whatever. So I was like, yeah, well, I got some spagyrics, and so I made the spagyrics and I was like, well, I should probably make a little label, So I printed some label, I cut it out, I taped it on the bottle, and then I went down there and I sold like $500 worth of spagyrics. And I was working a day job at the time, and I was like, whoa, that was kind of cool. Like, I just made $500. Like, that's amazing.
Not so
And at the
changed.
time, I was like, that's a lot of money, And then I did it again, and it happened again. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe I should get some nicer labels, and maybe I should make some more. And I could put a couple of these formulas together. And it's like, oh, there's a little like market. Maybe I should go set up a table, and maybe I should make a website for it too. And it was just this like kind of these like one thing after another. And next thing you know, it was like, oh, I think I started a business, And it was like that with the school too, where it was like, I was just teaching classes about like how to make kombucha at the local herb shop. And I had so many scobies, I just needed to hand them out, you know, and little thing. And then someone was like, have you ever thought about like putting all these classes together, like stringing it together? And I'm like, well, that's a cool idea. And so I started doing that. And then someone was like, have you ever thought about putting like all of these together, like done like a school? I'm like, well, that's a cool idea. And then so I started doing that. And I had my first year program, which was like 9 months. And then someone one day was like, oh, I can't come all the way out to Washington to take your course, and I really want to. You ever think about like filming it and then like posting it online? This is like 2012. And I was like, well, that's a pretty good idea. And so but it wasn't like, I'm going to start an online herb school. Like I never had that thought. And so it's funny, your question, it just makes me think about how it's just kind of been like, oh, what's right in front of me? And I'm just going to like try to do what I need to do to like, let's face it, like in a lot of ways, like figure out like, how can I support myself and my family as an herbalist? Like, how do you actually make a living as an herbalist? And I don't want to have to like work a day job and just do this on the side. I want to be like all in, and I want to do whatever it is that I can do to help people, because that's what it's ultimately all about. And so, yeah, it's interesting now being here at IHS. It feels like almost this, it feels like this new chapter in a way for me of, I haven't brought my spagyrics to a conference in over 8 years.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that.
No, I have not vended and had a table. I've never had a table for the school at an herb conference before, ever. Wow. It's always been me and Whitney, or me by myself. And so to be here with like, we brought all of our team together that all pretty much work for the school. There's one gal that works in the lab that we brought out too. And a lot of us had never met each other in person before. Wow. And so we're all together. We're like, this is amazing. We're just used to like seeing each other on Zoom or whatever. And so it's just cool. I feel like it's just been an interesting few days and reflecting on, where we've been, where we are now, and where we're going to go in the future. And I think it's really exciting, and it's just good to come here and to see you two. I don't get to see you guys that often, and it's awesome to just do this right now. And earlier I got a chance to talk with David Winston for a little while, and that felt really good. I've been studying with him for the last number of years, and I got to see Matt Wood. I don't see Matt very often, and I've got a really close connection with him. And it's just, I live up on a mountain by myself with my family. I'll go 2 months without even leaving the farm.
For real?
And
Wow.
and so for me to get out, be in a city, be surrounded by a bunch of people, in a way it's intense, but I think there's another layer of it for me that's like, this is good. Like, it's a good thing, because I think the herbal medicine community is a good community, is good, kind people doing good work in the world. They want to help people. And I think it's good to be around folks like that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many different directions we could go with that.
Let's go,
dude. Well, seems like a natural segue, but you mentioned living by yourself in the mountains, with your family, and Rosalie and I were discussing like what could we chat about, and one of the things we were both kind of interested in is like, what does the day in the life of a Sajah Popham look like? How do you spend your days? How do you spend your weeks? How's hermit life in general?
Yeah, cool question. Not something I talk about very much. Day in the life of Sajah. Well, I wake up in the morning pretty early. Yeah, we wake up early in
as a vitalist does.
Yeah, wake up with the sun as best I can. I'll be honest, June, July is a little tough because it gets light at 4 a.m. where I live. But we wake up early, and we live on a farm, a homestead. We're on 40 acres.
Wow.
We raise a lot of animals. We've got a dairy cow that requires milking every day. We got 25 at this, I think right now, 25-ish head of sheep. We're doing pigs for the first time this year, so we got 2 pigs. We raise our own meat chickens, so we do 100 meat chickens a year, layers, and then Whitney tends to big gardens.
What's layers? I missed
layers, egg chickens.
Layers.
Yeah, layers.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Laying
my
hens.
Process.
Yeah, laying
my
hens.
brain didn't.
It's all right.
Grok it. Now I understand.
You know a little
we are
homestead lingo.
Definitely not editing out that stupidity, but that's okay.
So there's a lot of chores on the land, and so I tend to wake up And I cook breakfast for my family most mornings.
Every day, all right.
So I, cook breakfast for the kids. I unload the dishwasher.
Okay,
Can I
good
ask
man.
what's for breakfast?
What's for breakfast? We're a proteinaceous, dense breakfast kind of family. We don't do, we're not a carbohydrate kind of breakfast. We're like eggs, bacon, sausage.
Paul Bergner would be proud.
Yeah, well, thanks, Paul. Paul definitely influenced our breakfast habits for sure. Yeah, generally is a pile of vegetables with good, ample protein. Eggs, sausage, veggies, potatoes, that kind of thing.
All coming from the land too.
Most of it,
Actually, yeah.
Like typically, like once midsummer rolls around, we don't really have to go to the grocery store. And that's like a lot of Whitney's focus is like she wants to just not have to go to the grocery store. So we're focusing on, or rather it's funny when you get married, like the me turns into we a lot. But it's really her doing that part. So we do breakfast, and then typically her and the kids go out and take care of all the chores, and I go to work. And then I go upstairs into my office, and usually start out communicating with team, and then typically my days are filled with writing. I write every day. I'm writing content. I'm creating content. I'm thinking about content for the plant path. I'm thinking of course content. And then I'm filming. I'm filming content either for the plant path or
There's
course
so much
content.
overlap between all of our audiences too. But by the way, I just want to say, subscribe to the Plant Path on your podcast player of choice. Anywhere else YouTube maybe, or is it mostly just on like Spotify, Apple,
YouTube,
Yeah.
all the podcast platforms,
Cool.
and then our blog. Everything there is published at home on the blog too.
Cool.
So yeah,
You may
which is-
continue. I just wanted to give a quick plug.
Thanks for the plug.
Absolutely.
Always appreciate that. So I mean, it's funny. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're an herbalist, so you just must be like basking in the glory of flowers all day long." And it's like, well, when you run an online educational platform, it's a lot of time on front of the computer, which is
It's ironic.
It's ironic. And it's a struggle, man. I actually kind of don't like it. A lot of days I don't like it. I don't like having to sit in front of the computer. And it's funny, like the longer I spend, I've been here in Ohio since Tuesday, so it's been 4 or 5 days. I haven't really been on a computer much. When I get home and I get back the first day back in front of a computer, I'm gonna really notice it. Like 4 hours into my workday, I'm gonna be like, right? And then I think there's like some kind of acclimation that happens, and then I can do it for longer periods of time. But yeah, and then I do a lot of sitting in front of the camera and talking and teaching, and doing some interviews every now and then. Doing a lot of research, reading, writing. I'm in the process right now of revamping a lot of our online programs, because a lot of our online programs were filmed workshops, some of which were back in 2012, where I still had like dreadlocks and, and I'm like a little less like, and I'm a little like, whoa, like a little ungrounded, then I get off work, and then after work I usually, because Whitney's with the kids all day, out in the garden and taking care of the land and doing homesteading things with the kids. And usually about that point, it's like, okay, she needs a little break from the kids. So that I hang out with my sons after I get off work, and I'll go play some soccer with them, or throw the ball, or play some hide and seek, kind of get them off of her plate for a little bit. And then we all sit down every night. We sit down together as a family, and we pray over our food, we eat food, we joke around, we laugh, and then I put my kids to bed. I give them a bath, and then I read them a story, and then sing them some songs, and then I put my children to bed every night, and then Whitney and I get some time to usually take care of things around the house and clean up, and then I try to go to bed at a reasonable hour. Yeah, and then when I go to sleep, I lay there and I listen to my book, because we were talking a little earlier. I'm a dork for high fantasy fiction, so
I did not know that about you.
I am a high fantasy dork. Yeah,
I am too.
I love this. So I want to hear what your favorite high fantasy book is, or series, or. Well, my favorite's The Wheel of Time, hands down.
Really?
Oh, I'm a huge wheel. I've gone through all. What is it, 14, 15 Wheel of Time books, I think 2 or 3 times.
About the TV show?
No. Well, the TV show, they ruined it. Yeah, they completely. Well, and they canceled it. So Amazon, It's done. They got like 3 seasons in, and we're like, we're doing this so poorly. We just have to end this. So, which I was actually happy about because they were just ruining the story. I was like, I'm just gonna let me picture it how it is in the book. So yeah, I like Wheel of Time. Yeah. I also really like. I mean, I think George Martin's work is fantastic. And then I'm on my second round of Brent Weeks' The Lightbringer saga, which is a 5-book series, really cool system of magic, and really creative world building. I also like everything by Brandon Sanderson. Brandon Sanderson.
Anything he writes, I'll read.
He's really, really good. Yeah, he's really
He did
good.
a recent one of like, oh man, I'm gonna forget it though. That's the thing, I read them so fast that they're just kind of like. He did one. It was like the tree, or I don't know. It's one of his like recent ones. It was super fun.
Tress and the Emerald Sea.
Yeah, so it was kind of like young adult maybe.
Yeah, it was a little young adult.
But it was
where she was on the boat.
Yeah. It was so funny.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sanderson's great. Yeah.
So you're listening to audio.
Audio books.
Is it because there's? I like audio. Even fiction. I'll do fiction audio. Not too often, but do you like it because it's performative?
I like the performative aspect. I also like that I can do things while I listen to the book. Yeah, because I'm a busy guy, man.
Totally, I'm with you. Man.
Yeah, so anytime I'm washing dishes, I'll listen to my book.
And you're still able to get into that world even when you're doing the dishes. Yeah,
totally. Yeah. Okay. And I'm like, I've got a lot of planets in the sign of Pisces, so my imagination is really rich, and so I love just listening and imagining and how it all goes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I enjoy that.
Y'all are wanting me to listen to these now. Like, I don't know any of this genre.
It's so good.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's really good. I mean, it's like wizardry and magic, but a lot of
herbalists.
But a lot of the stories have philosophical undercurrents that are archetypal in nature. So a lot of those stories are really
parables.
They're archetypal in nature.
Okay.
I mean, I think George Martin's work with Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire is like that. I mean, a lot of his work is, the astrology is in there like crazy. I mean, it's really, really cool.
Just a quick break from the show to let you know about one of today's sponsors for the episode, and that is Herbs with Rosalie. Rosalie, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Herbal Jumpstart you got going on?
Sure. Yeah, I have an Herbal Jumpstart program. It's the 3 essential skills that I think every herbalist needs. And in this program, it's a really quick program, shows you why I think they're important and how you can develop them. And so you can check that out at herbalmentorship.com. And when you do that, you sign up on my newsletter as well, which is my favorite way to stay in touch.
And I love your newsletter. It's so value-packed. I know a lot of your audience reads every single one, me included. You really try to bring joy, value, herbal knowledge, what's going on in your world, along with this newer thing you've been doing lately. It's Sunday Q&A. Want to tell us about that?
Yeah, thank you. I've been loving Q&A Sunday. I just answer reader questions. It's different every week, and we often get a lot of feedback on that. It's been pretty fun.
Amazing. All right, so sign up at herbalmentorship.com. That's going to do it. Now back to the show. Enjoy.
Well, we talked about.
He's got some good facial expressions.
Yeah, he does.
I practice in the mirror.
I actually
the kids probably help too.
Yeah.
I actually remember when I was a kid, I did actually practice goofy faces.
Did you really?
And
Oh, it explains so much.
I know, and I vividly remember my older brother walking by and like just watching me for a while, and then just started busting up laughing, and I was so embarrassed.
Okay,
I
well,
don't think I ever did it again.
I mean, if we're gonna tell embarrassing in the mirror story, so I was actually telling this story to my team last night. We all went out to dinner. We had a really good time, and it turns out a lot of us are really, really humorous and funny. We were laughing, have a lot. So since I had kids, I've kind of gotten into like sleight of hand, like coin magic,
sure.
make stuff disappear.
I love this. Sage is a dad.
And so, but the only way to really tell if you're doing the tricks right is you gotta do it in the mirror, And so when I was just kind of like learning, I was getting ready for bed, and I'm like brushing my hair and my teeth, and I'm standing in the bathroom, and I'm just like, in my pajamas or whatever, and I was like I got a couple minutes, I'll bust my coin out, and so I got this like copper coin, and I'm like in the mirror, and I'm like, whoa, like the coin disappeared, and I'm pressing, and like at one point, like Whitney opened the door really quietly, and I didn't know that she opened the door, and I'm like, okay, what? And I'm all practicing, and I know she was, and all of a sudden I was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh shit, and the coin drops, and they're like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, nothing. I'm just like getting ready for bed. And she's like, what are you doing with the coin in the bathroom in the mirror? I was like, it's nothing. Just getting ready for bed over here, So, anyways, that was my embarrassing.
/ adorable.
Yeah. My kids are really into it, though. I make that coin vanish, and they think I'm pretty powerful. So.
Wizard.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, we were talking a little bit about just the differences between like 2010 and now, and how things have gone. And now you have this, major online school. You've got a big team.
Yeah.
And we were just thinking about that and like how things must have changed for you, and just wondering like, how has that been to grow such a big business? Like, have you dealt with burnout, for example? Have you had to grow personally in order to grow your business? These are things that we think about a lot as, also herbal business owners. So.
Yeah. Man, it can get complicated sometimes. Well, definitely burnout for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've had to sacrifice a lot in order to build what we've built. Sometimes, I get really judged and criticized by people for working hard, and sometimes people don't. And I don't know if you guys experience this, but sometimes it seems like people think like if you have your own business, that like you just can kind of like do whatever you want whenever you want.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. It's like, well, what, you can't do this today on a Wednesday? Like, you work for yourself, can't you just?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, I work for myself, but I still have a job.
Yeah. You have to keep it like a job, because otherwise nothing will ever get done.
Exactly. Yeah. So in a way, it's more intense.
Yeah.
And especially, I mean, it's been challenging. I mean, it was me and Whitney for a really long time doing everything. I mean, I was telling someone the other day that we used to go to an event. We would set up our booth. We would Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 16-hour days. Sunday, break everything down at the end of the day, load up the car, drive all night to get back home, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 16 hours, something like that. Get home, unload, bottle and label a bunch of spagyrics, put it in the car, get some sleep, get back in the car, and leave for the next event all summer long. And it was like, yeah, man, we definitely burned ourselves out.
So you were doing events that weren't even herbal events too.
We were doing music festivals, fairs, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And I mean, and that's not like, it's not like a clothes vendor where people just look through and they're like, oh, I'll buy this.
Right.
It's like, well, what are these? And you have to explain it. And they're like, well, what's good for me? And then you're consulting people.
Right.
And we're basically doing 15-minute consults all day, 16 hours a day, every day.
That's crazy.
And so it's like a lot of work. But I mean, man, we learned so much about our remedies and would get feedback. We'd follow up with people, see how they were doing. We would take notes. We would, we treated it like clinic.
Wow.
Basically, that was how we treated it. But yeah, I mean, it got to a point where it was like, we can't do this all on our own. And the first thing was emails. It was like, emails. Like, I just need help answering all these damn emails. And so that was when we hired our, who now is our operations manager, Elisha. And she basically runs the School of Evolutionary Herbalism now. I mean, she basically runs it. But she started
Shout out Alicia.
Yeah, Alicia.
I
she's
remember
amazing.
Meeting her way back in the day at the Brighton Bush Herbal Conference.
Yeah.
And it's been cool to see her contribute
That was
so
when
much.
we met Elisha.
Really? That's
we
wild.
met Elisha
Okay.
at Brighton Bush. And then she was a student.
Wow.
And we were like, you're cool.
Yeah.
I like you. And we kind of brought her in. We're like, hey, can you just like help us with a few things? We'll pay you. And she was like, okay, sure. And then pretty soon we're like, can you like help us a little bit more? We'll pay you. And she was like, sure. And then it's great. I mean, and she's like, I'm like, I don't know what I would do without that woman. She's
I always tell people, like, I have your direct digits and stuff, but I always go to Alicia first. I know,
Yeah, because I'm not going to know at this
she
point.
runs everything.
Yeah, I'm not
so,
going to know. She runs it all. And that's the thing, right, is like for me, I had realized like, okay, it's one thing to, I think a lot of people don't understand how much is involved in running like the School of Evolutionary Herbalism is bloody complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got 2 copywriters, we've got a social media person, we've got people, just 3 people that just answer emails and phone calls, that support the students, that communicate with the students. The tech involved with running all of this infrastructure online it's complicated, man. And I got to a point where I was like, I can't be doing all of this stuff. It's like, I just want to teach. Like, that's my specialty. Like, that's what I can actually do. That, that's what I should be doing. And so, so it's been kind of like a process of figuring out how to build things in a way that I can stay in my zone of genius and do the thing that, like, I'm decent at, and that everything else can, be taken care of by other folks, and it's good. And to me, the way I see it is that, like, the more impact we have, the better. It's like, that's the way I think of it. It's like the more, like, I think of everyone that engages with our content as a student. Like, that's how we treat everybody. It's like, whether you pay for an online course or not, I still think of you as a student. If you go onto the plant path and you listen and watch our content, I'm going to treat you as a student. Because to me, herbal medicine should be available. Like, not everyone has the money or the time to enroll in some big online program. But I still think they should have access to, like, something interesting to learn about plants, right? And so that's why, I always kind of jokingly say, all the people that enroll in a course fund our ability to produce free content.
Totally.
Because, like if people pay attention to what we do, like, we only enroll like 3 things a year. We only really, like, we send a lot of emails, but the only time we're saying, hey, we have something for sale right now, is like a very small percentage of the time. The rest of it is just like, here's free stuff, because we want to support the herbal community and want to try to, like, just have a positive impact, man. That's what we're all about.
I love that word impact, because we talk about that a lot. Yeah.
That's actually I want to say your mantra.
Yeah, we talk about it. Yeah.
For sure. All right.
Yeah, we're all about impact.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, because people want to be able to heal themselves, and people want to heal their families, and people want to heal their communities. They want the skills, the strategies, the knowledge, the know-how to do that. And not everybody has the time and the energy and the money to invest in a however many $1,000 online course. They got kids, they got work, they got family, they got, like, it's 2025, man. People are busy. And so that's why we do what we do, because we just really want to make it available to people. Yeah.
How many episodes do you have of the Plant Path? Is it
Not
200?
as many as I would like, but a decent amount.
Yeah, it's a couple hundred, I think. Yeah.
Is it?
Something like that.
I mean,
maybe
the thing
not.
is, I was really spotty with my, it would be like, I'd have moments where I'd be like, oh shit, it's been 3 months and I haven't published anything. But because I didn't have enough help, right? And so now that we've gotten some more help, all of a sudden we're on a pretty good weekly schedule. I think we've been publishing every week for a couple months or a couple years now. Yeah.
But it is high quality content. I mean, interviews are amazing. We're doing an interview right now. Technically, you do have interviews on there, but then you also have just a ton of just like kind of borderline like free classes essentially.
Pretty much the way I think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, I mean, just kind of moving along here, you do put in a lot of work. You've got a team, you're managing a lot of people and your homestead, et cetera. I have to imagine you have somewhat of a robust self-care practice. What are some of the techniques you have for self-care? Pampering
I
yourself,
like we're calling
Sajah.
him out right now.
Oh man. Well, I think my primary method of self-care is this really, really powerful plant. It's my main medicine that I use. It's called coffee. And, I use that coffee.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
No, man. To be perfectly honest, I'm not the best at the self-care piece. Yeah.
You do. It sounds like you get decent sleep. Which
No, I don't. No, I try.
You eat well.
Yeah, we eat amazing. We eat
That
amazing.
helps, yeah.
We eat a really good diet. In my opinion, a really good diet.
Sure.
I mean, we eat meat and vegetables is pretty much what we eat. And most of it comes off of our land. We don't buy any meat. We eat all of our own meat from off the land. And we know how those animals are cared for. So, but yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I'm not that great at self-care. it's something I struggle with, you know. I mean, I have chronic pain,
Yeah.
so I'm getting a little bit, you know, I have a fracture in my lower back, so I end up, you know, I'm in pain a lot. I'm in a lot of pain every day, and so that forces me to take care of myself, you know. So I've actually been seeing a physical therapist that's been helping with that a bit, and so yeah, it's one of the things where I'm 39, I'm creeping up on 40 here, and it's like, for some reason 40, it's like wake up call time in a ways, you know, where I'm like, I gotta take better care of myself and try to be in it for the long haul, you know. So yeah, I have a tendency to kind of forget about me. Yeah. Because I get so focused on the mission and what I'm trying to do with my life and the impact I'm trying to have, that it's like, I kind of like, you know, Whitney will be like, hey, like, did you eat lunch? You know, and I'm like, no, I just had a coffee. And she's like, no, and he don't do, like, come sit down, honey, and like eat some food, you know, like. So I don't know what I would do without her, because she really keeps.
Shout out to Whitney.
Yeah, you know, I would not be able to do what I do without my wife. She takes care of me, and she makes everything go too in the background. Like, a lot of people aren't aware of like how she makes, like, everything you see, everything you interact with, everything. It's like there's Whitney's there, you know, and she makes it that way. Which is good, you know. If it was me, it would all look really ugly and really like with clip art, you know.
There is a very beautiful aesthetic to evolutionary herbalism.
That's Whitney, because everything she touches, she makes beautiful.
You were commenting on the website today.
I was,
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
On our website.
Yeah.
They just got redone, and that's all Whitney, man.
Yeah.
That's all Whitney, because she has an ability, and that's one thing I've been thinking about lately is like the power of beauty. Like beauty, you know, there's some cultures that really focus on like the way of beauty and making things beauty, and how that in and of itself is medicine. And I was thinking about that with plants too, where I feel like even just like when you're in a garden of beautiful flowers, it's like it does something to you that I think is actually healing. And so I think that's a kind of a way, an approach to living life, of like generating beauty, creating beauty, living in a way of beauty is like, I think that's a good way.
It might be underrated, to be honest. Maybe I underrated it for a long time, but just walking around Cincinnati, one of my favorite things is, like, we were walking around with that group the other day, and every few feet we were like, oh, look at that beautiful painting, and we'd all stop.
Murals everywhere.
Yeah, it's
Murals
really
everywhere.
cool.
And it just makes the city so much more exciting to be in, because they're incredibly beautiful. They're intricate. Some are realistic, some are trippy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cousin, my whole family's actually has a lot of roots here in Ohio. And my cousin did a couple big murals here in Cincinnati.
really?
I haven't seen them yet.
Oh, crazy.
But yeah, his name's John Lamb. He's an artist out of Denver. He actually works really closely with the Marley family down in Jamaica. And has done a lot of murals down
Bob
in Jamaica.
fame?
Yeah, he's connected to the Marley family. And but yeah, my auntie was telling me, yeah, John did a bunch of murals here in Cincinnati. So it's on my list to like go around and try to find them and see which ones
cool.
he did. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting about the self-care, and just like you said, you're 39 and now you're like, oh. I remember Kimberly Gallagher, she said something, I can't remember if it was in her book or in a blog or post or something, but she said, when I turned 40, I found out that the things I thought were optional, like yoga and, you know, taking care of myself, I thought they were like optional and they became necessary.
Yep.
And I remember reading that when I was younger and thinking like, oh, okay, sure, you know. But yeah, it's interesting to think of that, because I just turned 45. And
Happy birthday.
thank you.
Was it your birthday recently?
Monday.
What?
Yeah. We had a good, we went canoeing with Jim on the water. It was really nice. Yeah.
Amongst many others.
Yeah.
So wait, just this last Monday?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But it's been like I would say my 30s were all about like overworking. And I don't regret it. Like I was building something, and that was just where my energy was.
Totally.
And especially but like in my 40s, it's been so much more self-care. In the past year, I got obsessed with walking, and it's been an interesting thing because I'll spend 2 to 3 hours a day walking.
Wow.
And I had to readjust my priorities and my life and just like my reality to fit that in.
Totally.
You know,
it's because it's a necessity.
It's a necessity.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Mentally
like that.
and physically. Yeah.
Well, it shows. You look amazing.
No, thanks.
Yeah, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I remember seeing. I was like, man, Rosalie looks really like vital right now. Yeah, like there's a glow. I really
Rosalie identifies as an athlete now. Which
Yeah,
is really
nice.
Cool. She's out there swinging kettlebells and
Yeah, the personal
just
trainer.
getting ripped.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, we're gym bros.
Yeah,
That's right, for life. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah,
So
the
I'm
exercise
welcoming
piece is
you.
like
I'm
one.
welcoming you
Well,
into this new era.
I
Sajah.
appreciate it because it's good. I mean, everyone needs encouragement, you know. Everyone needs a like, hey, like it's good to do these things, you know. It's good to think about these things, and it's easy when you're young to hear people that are older than you talk about stuff, and they're like, yeah, that's them, but that's not gonna be.
Yeah.
That's not me. And then you turn 40 and you're like, oh, that's totally me, you know?
Yeah.
It's been interesting for me because I have so many friends, like we're all, you know, getting older, and I hear people say like, oh, I'm getting older and I feel it. I just feel better than I've ever felt in my whole life. Granted, I might have started at a little bit lower level, but because
That's
I
amazing,
have a personal trainer 3 times a week. I'm walking all the time. I do like check off all the like sleeping, eating, like normally, not the past 12 days. This has been,
This is abnormal.
we've been, I'm
Yeah,
glad.
y'all
I look-
been
I'm-
on the road.
I'm glad I
on
look
the
vital
road.
now because it's been a little bit of sleep deprivation going on, but for fun purposes, which I think adds to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've just been like nailing all the things, and I just feel like better than ever. You know,
That's
which is
really
kind of
cool to
fun
hear.
to hear. Like when people are like, "Oh, I'm just getting older, and I feel it," and I'm like, I just feel like life's getting better and better. I'm stronger
Nice.
and stronger. You know.
That's a good sign. That means you're doing something right.
Yeah, I think it's the strength training.
Yeah.
I mean the walking and stuff too, but man, strength training has like revolutionized my life.
Well, there's something about the way because it literally translates to how you feel physically in your body. And it's the difference between like, versus like, I feel strong.
Yeah, should I
you
sit up
know?
now?
Like, I feel like something about that, like strength.
Yeah.
You like, I think physical strength translates to a strength of the heart, a strength of the mind, and a strength of the spirit but it's like if the body is like, ugh, like, and that's something that I've been actively working on in myself. You're talking about self-care. It's like, yeah, like my back is really, really weak. And that translates to areas of my life where I actually feel really, really weak. And I'm like, I don't want to be weak. I want to be strong. Like I want to be a strong person physically, mentally, emotionally. That's the kind of father I want to be to my children. I want my kids to look at me and be like, oh, Papa's all crippled again, limping around on my cane. Because when my back's out, I'm on a cane.
Oh,
I walk on
wow.
a cane. I can't stand up straight. My back, I'm at a 45, 90-degree angle hunch. I will look like an 80-year-old man, you know? And it's like, man, this has got to, like, strength. You know, that's something that I've been really thinking about a lot lately of just, like, what the importance is of strength, you know? And I think in a way it's kind of weird. Like I think about concepts of masculinity, you know? And I grew up with a pretty, I guess for lack of a better term, a little bit of a heavy-handed stepfather. And I think that kind of made me reject a lot of like what we might think of as like archetypal masculine kind of qualities of like, you know, the macho man and
Sounds unbalanced.
and being strong and tough, you know, and I kind of like pushed all that aside. But then I feel like I replaced it with this being this kind of like maybe a little overly sensitive, and now I'm kind of like finding the balance between those of like, oh no, like it's good to be strong. Yeah, it's good to be a strong person, but it's also good to be sensitive too. Yeah. So yeah, I kind of think about those things.
I love that. I feel like lifting has made me be a stronger person mentally too.
Exactly.
Because I have to believe in myself.
Exactly.
In order to do it.
And you're
that's
not
been
going to give up.
surprising.
I can't do one more. I can do one more. Right? And that's mental strength. It's like they go hand in hand. Yeah. Yep. I feel the burn.
She's got a trainer, Sam.
He works out with us sometimes.
I've done some workouts, and yeah, she kicks her ass.
Yeah, she does.
It's difficult in the moment, but then afterwards you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, you
What I
feel
always
good.
say, I love strength training when I'm not strength training.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like evangelical about strength training, but in the moment I'm like a whiny little bitch.
Yeah. No, I don't want to do one more.
Yeah, she calls me. Sam says I'm her most theatrical client because like she'll be like, "Oh, we're graduating to a heavier kettlebell today," and I'm like, "Oh fuck," like and I'll be like, oh shit, like someone's calling on my phone, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Or like, oh sorry.
Fancy that.
the
Like,
internet-
yeah.
the
Oh, I have a
internet's
meeting I
unstable.
forgot about. Like, we gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
Wasn't it like you asking her, am I your favorite client? She says,
Yeah.
no, you're my most theatrical. Though.
Just a very diplomatic.
you're like, great. So that means I'm entertaining you, right? So,
Something.
so I'm gonna need like
Yeah.
20% back. For that, because, like, I'm so entertaining for you.
She does find me entertaining, for better or for worse. Yeah. Thanks for putting up with me, Mason.
No, you're
It's so much fun working
testing
with
my
your
limits,
bestie,
but
you know?
it's
Yeah. I didn't realize you guys were such close friends.
Yeah, well, we've been friends for like a decade or whatever.
it was
And-
New Orleans. Well,
But then we went to New Orleans. We're not putting the whole story on tape, though.
no.
Okay. There's a story. But yeah, we went to New Orleans for his 40th.
I turned 40 last October.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm your elder.
Yes. Teach me the ways of the 40s.
I know, I'm like a solid 11 months in. I could tell
Got
you.
me, bro.
So she's a Francophile.
Well, I'm French. I'm actually French.
Oh, yeah, she likes French culture.
Got
I'm-
it.
yeah, that is
Well, your
Francophile.
husband's French, right?
I'm French.
You are French.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you were
I
born
didn't-
there.
I didn't even realize that.
I
Well-
forgot you were born there.
I'm a French citizen.
Okay.
Oh.
I have a French birth certificate.
No shit.
As far as the French are concerned, I'm French.
You're French. I
Yeah.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah. Oui. C'est vrai.
I don't know what that means.
It's true.
Okay. You do speak fluent French too.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew she was really into French culture, and I remember years ago, we had a discussion. We might have been at John's house, honestly.
Probably.
And I was like, oh, we should go to New Orleans one of these days because I like New Orleans, and there's obviously a overlap between French culture and New Orleans. It's just one of the many cultures that is in New Orleans. And for my 40th birthday, I'm like, I'm going to New Orleans, and.
You invited me.
I out of the blue invited Rosalie along with two of my besties, Amanda, and Rosalie, and it was super fun.
You guys had a good time.
Very
Enjoyed
good
yourselves.
time.
Very
Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
Nice.
lots of bonding and
Then we've just been tight ever since, pretty much.
Well, she's really big into WhatsApp voice memos.
Okay.
Like voice recordings versus text. And on that trip, she was like, "Oh, you should send me some voice memos sometime." And I was like, "Sure." And then we just basically been sending.
Haven't
voice memos.
stopped.
Yeah. We never send voice memos when we hang out in person, though.
Yeah, well, obviously. I did once and it freaked him out. He's like, come on. I was
Oh.
like, dude,
It's like
it was
I'm
a
in the
joke.
other room.
It
Like,
was over the top.
Joke.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a joke. I think
was a
it was
joke.
serious.
No, it was a joke. Come on. Oh my God. Don't
But
flatter
it's been
yourself.
really cool to it's been really cool to work on new projects together. This whole Herbalists After Hours.
Well, so
thing.
he's my brother from another mother.
And she's my
Yeah.
sister from another miss.
Weird, just so much about us is so
Lots of
similar.
overlap.
Yeah.
Common.
well, it's really cool because I didn't know that, and I've known you through Herb Rally
Yep.
and through Mountain Rose
Yep.
and all the good work that you've been doing over there,
Yep.
and I've known you through all the work you've been doing and all the work that you had done with John, and so it's cool seeing you guys working together
Isn't that
on a
wild?
project because I feel like collectively the three of us have had our spheres of influence.
Totally.
And that's really positive and really good. And so it's really, I don't know, it's fun sitting here triangulating. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Would you say we're having a positive impact?
I would say so, yeah. I hope so. It's up to them. Like,
Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah,
if we're having
exactly.
a positive impact.
I want to,
Yeah.
I'm going to skip questions and just jump to something. Is
Do
that
it.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you brought up John. We all knew John.
Yeah.
And in different capacities, but we all knew him well. And I actually called you personally.
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
you to hear it from me, and
I appreciated that.
and Mason was really, he was there with me for the whole thing, and this project is really in part we're dedicating it to John. He's a part of our logo conception, which you haven't seen yet, but he's a part of our logo, and we just feel his presence a lot in this. Like you said that earlier today, this is what John does,
Totally.
I feel that a lot too, just even getting packed up, putting the cameras in the bag and just doing the thing. So much of what I know, I learned from John, and he would have loved this project.
Yeah.
He actually had a concept, him and Jim would joke about having this concept of a Herbalists After Midnight, or it was going to be Herb Mentor After Midnight, but it was going to be kind of more of an illicit, kind of
Explicit.
thing.
Yeah.
But so this is kind of like that Herbalist After Hours. Yeah. anyway, so we like to just bring him in. It's a way to honor him, and even as like we're still going through the trauma and the grief and the shock of it all. Just want to remember him, and I feel like he would have been here. You know, he would have been here, and we're wondering. We're asking people who knew John, and yourself included, if you have like a favorite John memory. That you could share
I've got
with
a
us.
lot of good John memories, man. Yeah, for definitely. I mean, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for John Gallagher.
He kind of mentored you a bit.
He totally mentored me a lot of it. Like Whitney and I always joke around and we say John was like the mentor that was like 3 steps ahead. That wasn't like, here's what you need to do this, do that, do the other. He would just like sprinkle little breadcrumbs. He'd be like, yeah, maybe look at that. Maybe go over there and try that. And be like, oh, okay, and then come back and be like, John, it was like this thing. He'd be like, yeah, no, go look at that over there and try that, And we wouldn't be where we are without John, And like we were saying earlier, you met John at Northwest Herb Fair 2010, and it was just Whitney and I, and we had our booth. We had 10 by 10 little pop up with our tables and all of our spagyrics, and I remember John walked in, and I didn't know who he was, and he came in, and he was like looking around, and he was like, hey man, how's it going, and I was like, good, and I'm Sajah, and my wife Whitney. Well, at the time she wasn't my wife, it was Whitney, and he was like, oh, hey, I'm John, learning herbs. I'm like, okay, cool. I'd never heard of learning herbs. It was early days, yeah. And he goes, he's like, cool. So you rep for this company, this Organic Unity. You rep for them? And I was like, no. It's my company. I started it. He goes, oh, cool, yeah. So how you got your whole crew, got all this all together for you, And I was like, no, man. It's just me and her. He was like, oh, it's just you and her. It's like, yeah. And he looks at me. You guys work fucking hard.
He would know too.
And because he knew, right? And he was looking at all of these bottles, all of these products, all the labels that were hand put on there, everything. He was like, you guys did all of this yourself? I was like, well, yeah, man. Like, we don't have any money. like we at that time we were broke.
Yeah.
I mean,
John knew about that too.
We didn't have any money. I mean, we were so broke. It was like, oh, this event's coming up. Okay, we got $600 in the account. It's a $500 vendor fee. Let's go. And John really supported us, and he really encouraged us. And when he found out that we were going to do some educational things, he had really said, well, there's a certain way that you can go about kind of distributing content on the internet to spread your message, And I told him that I, had a book that I wanted to write, and that I had these courses that I was teaching in person that I was thinking about taking online, but I didn't know how to do any of that. And he was just sprinkled those breadcrumbs, He just put a little golden thread in front of me and was like, grab onto that and follow it, and so he really, I mean, the School of Evolutionary Herbalism would not exist as it does to this day if it wasn't for John. And, I owe a lot to him. He really tucked us under his wing and showed me and my wife a lot of kindness and a lot of respect and a lot of generosity. I mean, I feel like that was his nature. He was just so generous, and he brought people together like this. Yeah. I mean, I remember, when he first started with Herb Mentor Radio, and it was all about just giving herbalists a platform to share their message. And what a service,
though, huh? I mean, that was way before really I mean, now we all have podcasts.
He was the first, right. Man. He was
Yeah.
the first one, and I don't think people know that. Yeah. I don't know how many people actually know that John Gallagher really paved the way for the online herb world. I mean, Learning Herbs was there before anyone was online. No one was doing that stuff.
Yeah.
He was a visionary.
He was a visionary, man. And we always joke around that, he was like, oh yeah, man, like I got into the online educational space. It was still the Wild West, man. Like there was no one doing it. And, you know, I felt like there was Learning Herbs, and we started putting our stuff online around 2011, 2012. Wow. And it was like, so there was Learning Herbs. I felt like there was us. We were still really small at the time. And then I think
Herbal Academy?
Well, I think Herbal Academy might have been getting going around that time. And then Chestnut. I remember Chestnut started getting going around that time. Yeah. And other than that, there really wasn't that much.
Yeah.
And I felt like those mid-20 years was like, it kind of felt like the Wild West, man. And it was like, we're all just trying to figure this thing out. And then COVID happened, and now everyone's online, right?
Totally.
But it all, to me, you know, I think John really paved the way, you know. So I got a lot of love in my heart for him and his family, and for everything that he did. I feel like he was, you know, and that was the thing too about John, is that I never felt like he needed really to even be seen. Like there wasn't a lot of ego about that guy, man. He wasn't like, oh, well, I'm John Gallagher, and do you know who I am?
No, not even
it
close.
Was you know, he wasn't like that. He was just cool. He was just a good guy, and he was just like, yeah, man, I just want to support the herbal community, and I want to uplift people, and I want to help this herbalist that doesn't really know how to do an online thing, maybe bring them in my world, spread their message, and have a positive impact. And I just feel like that was the kind of person he was. And that really had a positive impact on me. You asked me what a good memory is. That was one of the other memories of John. Is, you know, I remember talking to him one time, and I was like, John, I don't know, like, there's all this like online marketing stuff, and I'm trying to figure out how to launch this program, and what do I say, and how do I write this email, and all the tech, and blah, 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 blah. And John, in his like super laid back way, he just kind of looked at me, and he was like, Sajah, he was like, just be cool. Right in that way, you know, he would talk. He was like, just be cool. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean, John? Like, I'm like, bro, like, I'm not a cool guy. Like, I'm not cool. I don't even know what cool is. Like, but I was never like the cool kid. Like, what do you mean? He was like, just be kind. He was like, just be kind. Just be good. Just help people. Just be a good person. Just be cool, man. And everything's going to work out. And I was like, okay. So about that tech, you know, and I'm like, how do you do that thing, you know? And he was just like, just be cool, man. It'll all work out. And that was the kind of man he was, you know? So thank you for bringing him up. I feel like it's important to honor the people that, in my opinion, I feel like he revolutionized how us herbalists in this modern day can spread our message and help herbalists better be able to help the people that are asking them for help. That's the way I think of him.
Yeah, so many people came forth and talked about how they'd been mentored by John. And like, I knew that, you know, I knew it, but it made me want to be a better person.
Yeah.
You know, when I heard a lot of John's stories.
Yep. He's also just a really funny guy.
So funny.
Really funny guy. There was a number of times, because we were kind of involved in the same group of people that were understanding how to like do a bit of the online marketing stuff, you know, we were like in that same circle together. And there were a number of times we're at these big conferences in these big hotels with a whole bunch of people, and they're all like business people, you know, and we're just kind of like, okay.
We're
like,
herbalists.
We're herbalists, you know. And Sunday would often roll around. Oftentimes those events would be in the autumn time, you know. And John and I, both Washington folk, and Sunday would roll around in the autumn, and we'd be kind of sitting in the back, and he'd be like, you know, the Seahawks game is playing in the bar over there, you know? And I'd be like, fucking, let's go, dude. Like, I don't want to hear, I just want to hang out.
Yeah.
And we would just go sit and have a beer and watch the football game and enjoy each other's company. So that was there were so many times we just bailed, man. We're like, I'm tired of talking about business, man. I just want to watch some football and have a beer with my friend. Yep, he will be missed. Yeah.
You're saying about how he's saying, like, just be kind, just be cool. Made me think of another John saying that I've thought, you know, a million times in my life.
I can't remember when it first came up, but we were getting some kind of shade online or something, you know. And I was like taking it really hard.
Yeah.
And John said, he goes, just be so busy being awesome that it just doesn't matter.
Love
That's a
that.
good one.
And I think about that so many times. I'm just like, when, you
Say it
know,
again. Say it again.
just be so busy being awesome that it just doesn't matter. And I love that because it's like, you could get on this train of just like, you know, again, I don't remember what it was about, but some drama was happening, and I was just taking a lot of shit from people, and I was just taking it on. And he's just like, basically, it's like, well, you can stew in that shit, or you can just be like, focus on being awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just like, you know, so I think about a lot, like, oh, how do I want to like frame my day today? How do I want to like spend my time? What do I want my life to be like?
Yep.
I'd rather just be awesome rather than like stewing and shit, you know, people throwing at me. So
Totally. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, I feel like that's good for me to hear too, because like definitely not everyone out there in the world like appreciates me and who I am and what I do, and I catch, you know, some people like really don't like Sajah Popham in the School of Evolutionary Herbalism, and sometimes like hate gets thrown our way, and sometimes that hurts, especially when you're just trying to do something good, and to see it maybe misunderstood or misinterpreted, or that's challenging. So I really appreciate that's good. That's good to hear. You know, just
You got that one locked in the vault now. Though.
Yeah, like just be so busy trying to, and the way I interpret, like, and that's John's way of talking, of like, be so busy being so awesome. And the way I hear that is not like being like, oh, I'm so awesome.
For sure.
Not in a narcissistic way. No, it's not an egotistic way. It's like, by being so awesome, he means like doing good work, like being a good person, doing something positive. That's what it's all about, man. Like, that's what herbal medicine is about. That's what this whole community that we're here this weekend is all about. It's like, we're just trying to heal suffering. We're trying to make people well again. Like, that's what the plants are trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. And that's what it's all about. And I think it's like when we spend it's like there's so many distractions out there in the world, you know? It's like you're talking about with all that stuff that people can say online, or people get a negative on you, or it's like, man, I could end up spending whole days derailed from that. And that's sometimes what I come back to, is just like, you know what? I don't have time for that. I'm not going to sit here on Twitter or on Instagram or whatever looking at all these comments or trying to like whatever. It's like, no, I got work to do. I got someone here that needs help. I got medicine that needs to be prepared.
that's exactly what he was saying.
I got a garden that needs tending. I've got people asking me for help. I got someone that's confused and needs help to understand how to help their people. And it's like, yeah, we could all get caught up in all the dramas of the world, and we could argue politics and whatever. But it's like, what about this person that's suffering? That's what it's all about, is helping them, picking them up, helping them, uplifting them. And I think that's what the plants ultimately are like waiting on us to do for them, right? So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Sajah. It's really healing for me to hear that.
Yeah.
I never really hung out with you and John. Like, the three of us didn't really hang out that much, except, you know, a little bit of conferences.
Little conference time,
But
yeah.
I knew you know, I knew the context in which you were hanging out with John, and he loved you so much.
Oh.
Yeah, he loved you too. You know, it's kind of interesting that the three of us, I know
Yeah.
there's other people out there, but I think the three of us were three people who are strongly impacted by him, and mentored by him, and helped by him, and supported by him.
Yeah.
It was funny, like, you know, my company's called Herb Rally. And it took me a couple years to realize later, I was like, Herb Rally's 2 words smushed together with a capital R, and he had like
With the
Herb
dandelion
Mentor.
logo?
Yeah, with the dandelion. How could I not? But yes, I know, another parallel. And his was Herb Mentor with a capital M, one word. And I was like, shit, did I just straight up copy John? I don't know.
Nah.
He did tell me too that at one point he was like, he loved that I was listing events, and he's like, he totally wanted to do that. He just never got around to it. So it's, but yeah, I mean, John influenced me in so many ways. I mean, the podcast alone, right when I first started entering the herbal community, like, I would go to these conferences representing Mountain Rose Herbs, and I felt like I knew each one of them. And so I felt like I was immediately able to have like this gateway into like this relationship with these herbalists. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, what's so cool about what you've been doing is that you're like this hub, right? Where you're putting everything in one place, right? So everybody can kind of come to this one place to figure out what's going on in the herb world. It's super cool.
Thanks.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
It's a really unique really unique model that I think is really impactful and helpful for people. It's good.
Thank you. And I get blown away every time someone tells me, if I'm at an event, they're like, oh, Mason, I heard about this through Herbal. I'm like, oh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
That's literally what I'm trying to do here. I'm like, is this actually working? And I guess it does sometimes. So that's cool.
Well, that's the challenge of online-based work is that you can't immediately see the person, hear the feedback. It's kind of like, well, I hope it's doing something. I don't know. Maybe it's all bots interacting with that post or whatever. It's like you don't even know these days, man. I had a similar thing happen today. Some lady came by the booth and she had this really beautiful, thick English accent. And she was like, oh, I came up to the International Herb Symposium because of one of your Instagram posts. And I'm like, how cool is that, man?
Wild.
Like she flew all the way out for IHS because of when I was like, right on.
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Well, I'm just thinking, just to throw it back to John one more time. So John could have been like competitive with any of us.
That's true. Yeah, it's really true.
He could have been competitive like you do. So the podcast, the membership site, could have been competitive with you going online with your stuff. I always think I grew up with John. So, but then I went and did my own thing. Could have been competitive. And,
that could have been a full falling out.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
And he just supported all of us along the way and was like a champion of us. And even the whole time I worked with John, I had my own thing going on. And he was always supportive of that, always giving me ideas. Kind of like how you said the breadcrumbs, like he was always supportive. And like you were telling me, for a long time, Herb Rally, like he actually posted, like he had a link to you at the bottom of his website.
That probably one of the very few external links on his website. It said at the footer, it said herbalism events, and you click on it, and it just goes to Herb Rally events.
Yeah.
It's just like you did not have to do that.
He did
very
not.
generous.
So he could have been competitive, and I think I just wanted. He showed us through his actions about collaboration and how we'd lift each other up. And
that's right.
And he did it in such like big ways. Like he was genuinely excited to see people succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the optimal model for how I think most. That's the way I think all these herbal companies should be run.
Yeah.
I think that's the way all these herb schools should be run. Like, we all are in this together serving the one ideal. Like, we all got one thing we're trying to do, man. And we're all doing it in a different way. And it doesn't have to be competition. And I don't think that, look at nature. There's competition in nature, but there's a hell of a lot of cooperation in nature, too. And I think that is the way that we should orient ourselves in all of our work, That's why, for myself, I'm very encouraging of all of my students that come to my school to go study with other people. I'm like, go study with Rosalie, go study with David Winston, go study with Matthew Wood, go study with everyone if you can. Why not? They're gonna have something that you're gonna learn, and that's good. I think that's the optimal business model for all of us, is a model of cooperation, a model of affiliation, of mutual support, and that's the way I always strive to be, is really encouraging people. And I just think like the world of herbal medicine is too small for all of us to compete, man. You know what I mean? It's it's too small. Why compete and have this weird competitive quality when it's we could just be encouraging and uplifting and supporting one another? It's so much better that way because everyone thrives that way. That's the way I think about it.
I know you teed it up that way kind of, but I'm just loving the conversation and being I like that John was kind of the impetus for talking about all of this community stuff, such a beautiful way.
Yeah.
To talk about it, because he really was a champion of that.
He
remember
was.
when I first started the Herbalists Schoolhouse, like our little membership side thing, and it was so funny because John was hugely influential on me. I called him and I was like, "Do you care if I do this?" And I don't want to say he was offended, but he was definitely like, "Dude, Mason, come on, like seriously, I got your back." Like,
Yeah. But not everyone would have responded that way. Like some people would have felt like, oh, like I kind of do something like that too, and you're kind of stepping on my toes, and like I said that word in my email. I don't really want you to say that word in your email too, right? And it's like, well, I just said the word herb. Like there's no way around it, man. And I think that brings up an interesting conversation of like ownership concept, like copyright and you know, like trademarking and stuff. Like me, to me, it's like, I don't trademark anything.
Yeah.
I'd thought about it.
Yeah.
You know, people had told me, oh, you really need to trademark. What if someone else comes along and they take that name or they take that word or that phrase or that headline? It's like, well, I don't own that.
Yeah.
It's like, people have been saying that for a long time, man. I didn't think of that thing I didn't invent how this herb was used. Like, you know what I mean? It's like we all stand on, and that's the thing is like with herbal medicine. I love what Paul Bergner says. He goes, yeah, well, if you reinvent the wheel, it's probably going to be round, you know? And it's like, yeah, like you look up Geranium maculatum in every single herb book, it's going to say it's astringent. You don't need to figure that out on your own. Like, and that's how herbal knowledge grows, is that we all build off of each other's collective knowledge and wisdom. And that's how herbal medicine has become what it is today, right? Is through that mutual understanding and everybody working together. And that to me is the way of moving things forward in a good way. So yeah, I really appreciate you bringing that up, Rosalie, because I think that's an important thing that John stood for, that I think we can all strive to emulate in the best way that we can, and support one another. And because it's not about us, man. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about the people. Yeah. That's the way I see it. It's about the people that are suffering, that there's a plant out there that can help and heal them. They don't know what that plant is. They need a human to mediate between them and the plant kingdom to bring them together. And that's the ecological function of the herbalist, is the bridge that unites the human kingdom and the plant kingdom. Without that mediator between the two, no one is going to know how to do it. Like to me, the herbalist serves an ecological function. Like that's an ecological thing, right? That's like, because not everyone out there is wired to be attuned to plants. Like some people, they're wired attuned to like build a beautiful building, or to cook beautiful food, or to, you know, balance your books, whatever. Like everyone has their gift. And I think the way I think of the herbalist is that I think I don't know. I almost think that the archetype of the herbalist serves an ecological function, is the way that I think of it. And I think that's a pretty cool thing.
That is really cool.
I think it's a cool thing. I think it's actually a necessary function in the pattern in which the human species is meant to live on the earth. Yeah, I think that's a function that's necessary. Is the medicine person, right? It's like that there has to be someone to do that. And I think that's the role that the herbalist fills. So
that's beautiful. I love that. I think a lot about ecology, and I just published a coloring book this year.
Oh, cool.
Oh man, I should send you some for your kids.
I didn't know this. Well, my kids love to color, so yeah, I would love to see it.
It's a landscape. So it's for the east. Well, it's the landscape of the east side of the Washington Mountains, but it's very much a like naturalist coloring book.
Cool.
I'll send you some.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. I'll have to keep the 2-year-old away from it though, because the 2-year-old just goes like this.
That's okay. There's plenty of books.
And we'll leave links to the coloring book in the podcast show notes as well. So this has been a fun segment of the show. I don't think I did this when I interviewed for the Herbalist Hour, but we've been getting these guest questions.
Oh, cool.
And it's people just recording video of them. I actually just recorded this with someone this guest question specifically for you.
Okay.
Maybe about 2 hours ago or
cool.
something like that. But,
Right here at the conference.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, exactly.
We do some things on the fly.
I love it.
You may or may not recognize this person, but
Oh.
Hey Sajah, so my question is, are we gonna see more really cool waistcoats in the future?
So that's Jocelyn. That's my. She actually works with me. Jocelyn. Are we going to see more waistcoats? Well, the waistcoat is a new addition to my attire that I'm experimenting with. I'm trying it out.
quasi dapper.
I'm quasi dapper. Well, it's funny because like my wife and I watched we watched the Peaky Blinders,
sure.
and I was like, those guys, they
got it going on.
dress pretty darn nice.
Yeah.
And I used that word. I was like, those guys look so dapper.
That's a good word.
I've seen you in many of a hoodie.
Yeah, many hoodies.
But I can't remember. I was talking to maybe it was Benjamin Zappin or I don't know. When I first arrived, someone was like, "Have you said hi to Sajah yet?" I said, "No, I haven't seen him yet." And he said, "He's looking very dapper."
Benjamin said that?
I think so.
Oh, really? That's great.
I might be misremembering, but somebody said you were looking very dapper. And then later, I was chatting with Mason, and I was like, "I haven't seen Sajah yet." It just felt weird, like I wanted to see you and someone. I was like, "I haven't seen Sajah," and he goes, "Oh yeah, he's looking very dapper." And
Very dapper.
And I was like, "Wow!" But I mean, you wear it well. I mean, you own it.
Well, thank you.
It looks like that is what you are supposed to wear.
Well, that makes me feel so much better because it's hilarious because, it's like kind of I haven't dressed like this in public very much before at all.
It just looks like you, though.
I'm like, and I was talking to Whitney, and I was like, I kind of want to dress up a little bit more. I want to present myself a little more professionally, and I don't want to just be the hippie in the hemp 3/4 pants with the hoodie, and she was like, "Do it." She was like, "Yeah, get the waistcoat," and I was like, "Yeah, English country gentleman style, the tweed suit." So I'm trying it out, but I walked in the door yesterday and I immediately felt so incredibly uncomfortable. I was like, everybody is just wearing the clothes that they wear, and I'm way overdressed right now, and I'm really hot and I'm really sweaty, and I'm just gonna tough it out. But no, well, thank you.
You own it. It looks like that. It just looks like when people find their style. And it actually is their distillation of their true essence. And it just looks like who they are. That is what you have.
Well, that makes me feel so much more confident in myself. Thank you. I appreciate that because I've been feeling a little, maybe a little self-conscious with my attire, but I like it. And I think it hit me watching some of those old, film and things that take place in an older time frame where I'm like, man, people used to just dress really nice all the time. They would just dress nice all the time. People would wear a 3-piece suit to get on an airplane, and I'm like, man, I kind of want to dress like that. And Whitney was like, well, do it, and I'm like, yeah, but isn't that going to be weird?
Not weird.
No, go for it.
Someone did say, "Oh, Sajah's in the vending area. It looks very dapper." And when I saw you, I was like, "Yeah, it looks dapper," but it looked normal to me. I was like,
"Oh, nice.
Doesn't he always kind of
Who
dress
said
like
that then? Because that must have been when I was with you or something.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
I can't remember.
I might have given Benjamin credit for something.
Yeah, I remember. But yeah.
5 flavor. Everybody go check them out.
So when we interviewed Kyle, we just had him kind of open up to a random page in Rosemary Gladstar's new book, The Generosity of Plants, and it was kind of this just fun little random thing.
Yeah, quotables.
But we realized you actually have a quote in there. So.
Well, you know what's hilarious is that I saw that book showed up at my house one day, and I was like, oh, well, that's nice. Someone sent me a book. Who sent me a book? And I opened it, it was Rosemary, and I was like, Rosemary Gladstar sent me. I'm like, why would she just? I didn't even know. We've met a few times, but I've never connected that deep of a level with Rosemary before, and then it was thank you for the quote for the book. And I was like, wait, am I in this book? And then I saw, and there was I saw my name in there, and I literally flipped through the whole thing. I was like, what quote did they use? And I couldn't even find it. Mm-hmm. So am I actually in this book?
I found it. It's near the back.
It's funny.
Oh, because
I think I'm the only one to point this out, but we've got Sajah Popham on one side, and Guido Maze on the other side. So we've got two herbal hotties face.
Well, okay, so funny story. Funny IHS story, Guido Masse story, Rosemary Gladstar story. So this is where it all comes together. The whole thing.
Triangulate.
It's all coming together right now. So I think it was the first IHS I came out to teach. Let's see. So they happen on, it's 2025, so they happen on odd years. So it must have been 2013, my first IHS. I went out there, and this was before they had the new dorms. It was all in the old dormitories, which don't have any air conditioning.
And it's brutal.
So
it's
bloody
brutal.
hot in there.
Brutal. And humid.
And no airflow, etc. And anyways, I'm getting ready there, and I'm getting ready to check into the room, and Rosemary was there, and Rosemary's like, "Oh, you're Sajah," in her like the bubbly way, and she's like, "Oh, it's so cool to meet you," and
that is Rosemary.
And she was like, "Well, I put you in the room. I had your room with Guido Masse. Do you know Guido?" And I was like, "Well, I met him briefly." And she's like, "I just thought you guys would get along so well." And I was like, "Rosemary, I think you put us in the same room because we both have really long dreadlocks." And she was like, well, maybe just a little bit, It was so great. So I always remember that, and I remember at that weekend.
That story is good, but in the future, I would edit it to be like, I think you just put us together because we're both herbal hotties. That would be.
Well, I don't want to come across as too narcissistic. But I remember, it's actually funny now that I'm remembering that. I remember he snored all night and kept me awake. So the humidity and the snoring kept me up all night. But then I remember in the morning, he woke up and he kind of woke me up, and I rolled over.
He woke up at 6 a.m. to run.
And he was getting dressed, in like a full suit. And I remember looking over.
He does dress very dapper.
Yeah, and I remember being like, damn, that guy looks pretty good. Like, he's like got his nice outfit on, like,
you put on your hoodie.
And I remember, I'm just like putting my dingy hoodie on, and I'm like, wow, that guy's like, he's really professional,
Took you 12 years to come around.
It took me a while, to come around. So thank you, Guido, for the student inspiration. So am I supposed to read my own quote?
Do you want to? Should I read it?
Whatever's.
I don't even remember. I looked through that whole book and I couldn't even find my own quote.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I am in there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It says your name right here.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow, jeez. What
What
did I say? No.
No, you should read it. But what we did with Kyle was he opened a random quote, and then he just kind of talked about his thoughts and opinions on it. So you're going to read his quote that you don't even know what's in there, and then you're going to
I'll wrap on
context.
it. Yeah. Well,
or he can comment on Guido's.
Or that works.
We'll do both.
Okay. All right, this is you.
Okay.
Becoming a person of the plants is not a learning process. It is a remembering process. Somewhere in our ancestral line, there was someone that lived deeply connected to the earth, the elements, the sun, moon, and stars. Oh. That ancestor lives inside our DNA, dormant, unexpressed, waiting to be remembered and brought back to life to show us the true nature of our indigenous soul. Sajah Popham.
I said that?
It sounds good. It sounds really good. I would take credit for it if I were you.
Interesting. Yeah. That definitely sounds like something I would have written in my 20s. Yeah. I would say it differently now. But I can see I can see the thought process of what I was thinking there.
I mean, just let's just go back to the beginning, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Becoming a person of the plants is not a learning process, it is a remembering process.
Correct.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's that somewhere, well, I like the part that somewhere in our ancestral line there, because if you think about it, like our grandmas and grandpas and their grandmas and grandpas, somewhere back there was someone that lived very deeply connected to the earth. And I don't mean that in some esoteric spiritual way. I mean that in like, they had to go out and chop wood, they had to go carry water, they had to go hunt food, that their survival depended on their connection to nature. And that survival also was dependent on understanding the plants to a certain extent. I mean, at the very least, some of the food-based plants. So yeah, I kind of think of it that way. I think that everywhere in all ancestral lineages, there were people that had a relationship to the earth and not just in that very practical way that I was just describing, but I also think somewhere in there was like an esoteric connection to nature too. There was an understanding that there's an intelligence in nature, that there's a spirit within things, you know, that gives it life, that gives it intelligence, that gives it consciousness, that at the very least a recognition that there's elements that give us life every day, you know, that we have to eat food, that we rely on the earth, that we have to drink water, that we have to breathe air, that we need the sun, right? We need fire, that warmth, that those elements give us life every day on a very practical level, but there's a spirit inside of those elemental forces too, and that even those elemental forces are like at the root of creation itself. And I think a lot of herbal medicine brings us back to that in a lot of ways, you know, because to me, herbal medicine connects a lot of people with tradition, with culture, with something that helps us, I guess, as I said in my own quote, that that there's something inside of us that remembers. And I think a lot of people say that, where they're like, oh, it's so weird. Like, when I hear people talk about this stuff, it's not like I feel like I'm learning it. It's like I feel like I'm remembering it. Mm-hmm. And that's because I think within all of us, we are, whether we recognize it or not, we are connected to the earth every day. We're connected to the water every day. We're connected to the air, the fire every day. No matter where you are in the world, these are the fundamental determinants and givers of life. They're angels. It's like God created these elemental forces to create life. They're the fundamental clays that constitute reality itself. And I think that when we connect with plants on a deeper level like that, I think some of us, it kind of awakens. It awakens something within us that recognizes that truth, which I believe is a truth. I'm not saying it's like my truth. Like, I think that's a truth of life itself. And I think that's why you see it reflected in like almost every darn culture and tradition that you can come across and study. It's like they all talk about that. So yeah, those are some random thoughts from Sajah on that.
You know, it's funny. Yeah, it was beautiful, Sajah. Thank you. I love that you didn't remember that quote.
I don't remember that quote. I wonder if it's from my book or from something else.
They dug deep on that. I think Jim said he didn't know where his quote came from either, and then he randomly found it, and like he sends out a Thanksgiving email every year, and it was like from one of his Thanksgiving emails. So they dug deep on these. Oh wow!
Yeah, it's so thoughtful that they pulled it from one of those.
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot other quotes out there that are a little better than that one.
Yeah.
That's the problem with writing things down and publishing it, is that people can dig it up. No. Let's hear what Guido had to say.
You want to hear what Guido had to say? All right.
I do want to hear what Guido said.
Guido says, the human being is like a garden, and we, as herbalists, are gardeners working with a living, intelligent ecology.
Ah, very good, Guido. Very good. You know, I've only met him once, and I sure would like to meet him more. Because I feel like me and that guy could probably nerd out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those herbalists. I met him at that one IHS. That's it. And I've read his book on aromatics, tonics, and bitters. And I know he knows about spagyrics and stuff too. And I'm just like, man, I want to talk to that guy a little more. Yeah, that's a good one. The herbalist's garden, or the guy's gardener, and that we are all a garden. I think that's a really good metaphor because it shows that we're tending to something, we're stewarding something. Like you think of a garden, well, what makes a plant grow? Again, it's like what? Earth, and water, and carbon dioxide, air, and fire. It's like, and then what does a gardener do? They don't control the plant. Like the gardener doesn't control the plant. The gardener controls the environment around the plant so it can flourish on its own accord. And isn't that what an herbalist does? Like an herbalist attends to the ecosystem of the person, and they tend to their environment, their inner environment. In some cases, through good coaching and things, that person can make changes to their outer environment so that they can flourish, so that they can flower. I think it's a really apt metaphor for what we do as herbalists, and that We don't try to override the intelligence of the body, and rather we work with the innate intelligence, the vital force of the body, of the vital intelligence of your liver, of your stomach, of your small intestine, of your heart, of your mind, of your spirit, that there's a whole way that you're put together. Like there's a unique set of circumstances in which you will thrive and flourish, in the same way that gravel root has its own unique circumstances in which it will thrive and flourish, in the way that's different from blue vervain. Like everybody's a little different, right? So that as herbalists, it's like, oh, what kind of person are you, and in which kind of environment are you going to thrive? And let's bring these plants in and make these suggestions to maybe the foods that you eat and the way that you live your life every day to make it so that you like the you that's inside the center of who you are can come out, you know, and can flourish and can thrive and can flower, and that's the way I think of an herbalist too. So yeah, that's a really great quote from Gray. What was the last part of it? There was something in the end of that quote that I found really intriguing too, that I kind of latched onto the garden piece, but was that the end?
I'll read the whole thing since
let's hear it
short.
again. Yeah.
The human being is like a garden, and we, as herbalists, are gardeners working with a living, intelligent ecology.
Living intelligent ecology. So ecology, that's the difference. So that's, you have like the two different ways you can look at things in a way. The way I think of it is like you have the mechanistic, scientific, reductionistic, analytical paradigm, and then you have the vitalist, human, not human as machine, human as garden, human as ecosystem, human as, you know, it's like the nature versus nurture conversation in a way too kind of impacts that. But I like that he says ecosystem, because that gets us out of a mechanistic way of seeing the human organism, which when you get out of the mechanistic way of seeing the human organism, you get out of a use this herb for that symptom kind of mindset, right? Which I think is not, in my opinion, not like the best way to approach. I mean, you talk about that too. It's like not the best way to approach herbal medicine. You know, they're like, oh, use willow bark for headaches. It's like, well, yeah, that might help some people with a headache, but it's not going to help all people with different types of headaches, because there's like how many different types of headaches, right? And so when you look at the human being as an ecosystem, and you look at the herb as something that alters and adjusts and changes that ecosystem, now all of a sudden you can't think of use this herb for that symptom. You look at the whole person, and you look at how that individual plant will impact that whole person, and is it a match or not? And so, and I think the ecological dynamic is a big piece of that, which really comes down to human constitutional systems. It comes down to tissue state energetics. It comes down to the energetics of the herb. Whether, you know, is it a hot headache or a cold headache? Well, you give rosemary to the person with a hot headache, you're going to aggravate it, man. It's, you know, they're going to hate you, you know? Whereas, you know, you give them the cold, bitter, draining, drying, tonic, astringent willow bark quality for that hot, lax, throbbing headache. It's like, yeah, that's going to really help them. And that's that part of that quote that I really like, is the ecosystem, the human being. And that's, and yeah, I could talk about this over a lot, because then it gets into alchemical theory, which is that human being is microcosm of macrocosm, that we are the ecosystem in micro form, that the mountains are our bones, you know, and that the lava is like our HCl, and the rivers are our vasculature, and the lakes are our kidneys, and right, it's that everything that you see out here in nature exists in here, and that the plants are an embodiment of that ecosystem out there. And when you take the plant, you're taking in that ecosystem, so that the outside is in the inside, and the above is in the below, and that this all unified in this like grand tapestry of creation. And so that's like, you know, it's like whatever, now I'm floating away into the ethers. But that's the way that I like to think of, like Guido speaks to a really like deep concept there of that we are a garden. We are a garden, and that the work of the herbalist is to learn how to properly tend to that garden so that we can flourish. So, yeah.
I love this quote segment. It's really cool because you so eloquently explained, well, and of course Guido would probably have his own explanation, but it was cool to get your take on it.
Yeah.
And his was a rather short quote, you know, but it's so beautiful, so poetic, and you just...
I wonder if Guido would be like, yeah, that's how I felt in my 20s.
Or he's probably like, so he's just way off on that stuff, but I meant it all.
No, I think you and Guido would definitely get on. Just, you know, saying as a third person observer. So.
Well, that's what makes a potent quote, though, right? Is that it's concentrated meaning. It's meaning concentrated. It's like using as few words as possible to encompass a big point. And that's why I really personally love philosophy. That's why I'm like a really big fan of Nietzsche. Like Nietzschean philosophy is like that guy. Like I could say in one paragraph what would take other philosophers' books to say, because you know they say Nietzschean philosophy is it's philosophy with a hammer. It's the philosophy with a hammer, and it just breaks down whole psychological concept. We're just like, what? You know, in one sentence, it's just profound.
Interesting.
That's why books like that are cool. Quotables.
Yeah, I don't know about Nietzschean stuff. I just read high fantasy.
Fantasy's good too, because the philosophy's in there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of did want to dive into one question we were thinking about asking. It kind of you joked that maybe that's how Guido felt, or did you say that in his 20s?
I said that.
Yeah, that was you. That was a good. That was clever.
Thank you.
That's very clever.
But one of the things we kind of wanted to ask you is there any strongly held beliefs that you had maybe back in your 20s that you vehemently disagree with now?
Have you changed your mind on anything?
And this could be
Sajah?
personal, philosophical, or herbal. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
Were you a vegan? Just kidding.
Well,
wherever you want to go.
That is one. Yeah, that's a big one there. Yeah. I mean, I guess in my mind, I've never really been that political most of my life, but I think in recent years I've gotten a little more political over the years. I think since I had kids, because I wanted to be aware of what's going on culturally. But I think I'll leave it at that. I think a lot of folks there, I maybe see things a little differently, but I think the food thing is a big one. When I first moved out, I was so afraid I was going to give myself food poisoning from eating undercooked meat that I went vegetarian. And then a year later I went vegan. And then I went raw food.
Whoa.
I was a full raw foodist living in the Pacific Northwest of Washington for 2 years.
I had the same exact
trajectory.
Trajectory, conclusions.
It was same for me. Like moving out and the raw meat thing freaked me out. It was just easier to eat vegetables.
Yeah, totally. Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was so nervous about it, and then it turned into and I realized I got really rigid, and I think I think that's the teaching. I think food is one reflection of it. But I think there's an area where I think as human beings, we have to be incredibly careful with ideology. And I think that's something that we see a lot in the modern world is very strong ideological systems that people subscribe to that perhaps they haven't really taken time to think through. Yeah, well, I think what I was saying is that for me, anytime we hold really, really strong ideologies, I think we have to really look at them and we have to look at the conclusions that those come to. And I think at this time in the world, from my perspective, I think there's a lot of very strong ideological systems at play that I think in many ways can be very dangerous. And I think for me, one of my main ideologies that I realized that I held was around food. And I think ideologies make you immediately shut out anything that opposes that ideology. And as soon as your mind starts functioning that way, you're not open to new ideas. You're not open to learning. You're not open to growing. And just anything outside of that ideology is your enemy. And that's dangerous, man. That's very dangerous. And I think we're seeing the danger of that in our world in a lot of ways. So for me, yeah, you know, I mean, I was very strict vegan, raw foodist. I actually, unfortunately, you know, I mean, I've been known to kind of piss some people off when I talk about veganism because when you, and I used to be this way, like I want to preface to anyone hearing, I used to be this way, that if someone told me that veganism was not healthy and was maybe not good for my body, I got really defensive because veganism was a part of my identity. That was part of who I am. Hello, I'm Sajah. I'm a vegan, right? And isn't that interesting that like a carnivore doesn't do that? An omnivore, hello, my name's Sajah. I'm an omnivore, just so you know. Yeah, well, I like to eat meat, you know, just so you know, I'm like a meat eater. Like, but only vegans tend to do that. And I realized, like, why is that? And it's like, it's an identity thing. So when you attack veganism, you're attacking someone's identity and they defend it, right? And they get really sensitive about it. And I understand because I used to be that way too.
Me too, and him too.
Yeah, so, right? And so for me, it's like, I've learned to like loosen up a little bit, man. Like loosen up. Don't take everything so damn seriously. It's okay. People think differently. People have different approaches to things. That's okay. So that's definitely something for me has really come full circle as someone that literally I didn't cook any food for 2 years. I didn't eat anything that was not plant-based, and I wrecked my health in the process. And then I came full circle, and then now I raise all of my own meat. I butcher my own sheep. I butcher my chicken. I butcher all my own meat, you know, and the relationship that I have to that meat. And when I eat that meat, I know it's good for me because I know where it comes from, right? And our vegetables, we know where it comes from. My fruit, I know where it comes from. So that's something that's definitely very different. I also think, you know, when I look back, sometimes if I embarrassingly listen to how I used to talk in my 20s and kind of my perspective on things, like my feet are way more on the ground, you know, like I'm way more practical about things. I'm not like I used to be, like I still appreciate the spiritual and the esoteric, like the spiritual side of life is still central to me. It's at the center. But I've realized that the spiritual side has to be balanced with practicality, and it has to be like grounded and landed and implementable, right? And I think I've grown in that way, in the way that I teach and the way that I speak. I'm not quite so lofty and ungrounded. I mean, I used to be just an incredibly, like, I mean, I used to smoke pot all the time, man. I mean, from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, in my early 20s, I was stoned all the time. And I think,
too.
Yeah, I mean, I figured as much when we first met. It was like, what's up, bro? Like, you know, we were like 22, just like, right on, dude. I like plants too, you know. And boy, quitting smoking that plant was one of the best things that I ever did for myself. One of the best things that I ever did for my health, for my mind, for my confidence, for my sense of self, all of that. It was like, I mean, it was really good for the time that it was, but it got to be where it was not really good anymore. And for me coming out of that, it took a long time for me to kind of like land. And like, I think from smoking cannabis for too much for a long time and then being vegan for a really long time, I was not grounded, man, at all. And so I feel like that's kind of been, you know, my mid-20s was when that all kind of shifted, and coming into my 30s definitely like changed a lot of those things. And I think becoming a dad and starting a family too is just like totally big game changer for me in terms of knowing what I value, you know, like knowing who I am, what's important to me, what kind of world I want my children to be grown into, and what type of life I want to have for them, what I want to create for my children. I mean, that's like Like that's like the most important thing is the children. It's for the children. Everything I do is now, it's like, it's for my kids. It's not about me anymore. Like I don't care about myself really in a lot of ways. Like we were talking about self-care earlier. I'm like, yeah, you know what, whatever about me is about my kids now, you know, and for all the children. Like I want all the children to be able to appreciate the beauty of a forest and to be able to learn and to grow and to have a beautiful world to, you know, to grow into, you know, a sane world. So, yeah.
I'm thinking Sajah Popham is going to write a children's book.
A children's book. Yeah, maybe. I have to really, really think that one through. Yeah.
Well, what I think, not to be like all heavy, but I think as a daughter who had a dad who I adored, the best gift he could have given me was better self-care for himself.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another full circle moment too, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Because when you're in a good way, then you're in a good way for your kids, right? And then you're not tired and cranky and grumpy and...
I have a feeling you do a lot of self-care that you're not even acknowledging as self-care.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably really true. Yeah.
I have a whole self-care checklist, and you probably do a lot of the shit anyways.
Really? Yeah. Like, breathe. Yeah. Breathe in and then breathe out. Eat food. Drink water.
Well, it's so like, you know, nice to check off.
Do you take like a magnesium supplement?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So that's self-care.
Yeah, I got to do the magnesium. Yeah. Otherwise, I get all crampy and cranky.
That's for real.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Yeah.
So we got another guest question for you.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
So Sajah is just one of the kindest herbalists that are out there, extremely knowledgeable, can completely zero into your question right away and answer it. I'm really amazed to know him. He's a good friend of mine and I really appreciate him. The question that I would like to ask Sajah is, what drives you? What is the passion that makes you so great at what you do? Your book, all the energy that is obviously in there whenever you pick up your book and read it, your detail, what inspires you to be that way?
Yeah.
Mr. Nathan
Good.
Wright.
Yeah, shout out to Nathan Wright.
Yeah. Oop, I started it again. Nathan. That's a good question, Nathan. Yeah. Oh.
It was so sweet we were walking with Nathan. We asked him, we said, do you know Sajah?
Yeah.
And just like the love that poured forth from him for you was just super sweet.
Well, I met him at the last IHS for the first time, and I met him and I was like, yeah, this guy, he's good. I like him very much. The way he spoke and the way we connected is very good. And actually, I had got, I think he had given me a jar of his salve that he makes. He makes this salve. It's very simple. It's poplar buds and St. John's wort, I think. But I put it on my oldest boy gets growing pains in his shins. I put it on there, and it, man, really quick takes that away. So every time I use it, I'm like, oh, that's that guy Nathan. Yeah, it's good. Well, his question is good. You know, for me, it's like what drives me is that, well, there's a number of factors. You know, for me, like I've been healed through the plants. Like I've received help through the medicinal intelligence of the plants. And that medicinal intelligence of the plants has helped me heal my trauma. It's helped my body to feel better. It's helped my mind to feel more clear. It's helped me overcome the things that I feel like were blocking me in my own life. And through my own healing, I just want to share that with someone else. Like I just want someone else to be healed in the way that I was healed. In the way that the plants have healed and transformed me, I want to be an instrument through which those plants can operate through to heal and transform someone else. Like that's what it's all about for me, is like these plants have completely transformed my whole life and in such a positive way. And I'm like, okay, wow, that's really profound. How can I share that with someone else? I just want that for someone else, you know. That's been my motivating force, is just trying to do something good, you know, for the world and for the people. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a doctor. Like, I think there was just something in me that, you know, I think a lot of people that are called to the healing path, I don't think it's always necessarily a rational thing, you know? Like, I don't think it's necessarily like, yeah, I went to the high school job counselor and I took a little survey and then it turns out I should be a doctor. It's like, man, maybe there's some people that, you know, maybe they're like, yo, the doctor said I was gonna, you know, the thing said if I was a doctor, it'd make me the most money, so that's what I'll do. You know, but I think that people that are really genuinely called to the path of healing, it's not an intellectual thing. I think it's something of the heart. It's something of the heart. It's something inside of you that empathizes with the suffering of others and wants to do something about it.
That's so cool.
And I think it's something, and I think most people, if you really talk to most herbalists, they've all struggled. They've all been traumatized. They've all had their suffering. They all had their bullies on the playground, their abusive parent, their sickness that sent them to the hospital, their whatever it is, man. It's like they've all suffered. But that's the stuff that makes a person of medicine, because then they understand. Because then when there's that person in front of them and they're suffering and they're saying, can you help me? And you can look at them and you can say, yes, I can help you because I understand what you're going through. And I have learned something along the way. I carry a medicine that I can bring to you now that can help you. And to me, that's what it's all about. So that's the way it is for me. You know, I mean, I grew up in a household full of really sick, a lot of sickness, you know, cancer, diabetes, depression, anxiety, anger, a lot of it, man. I was just surrounded by it. And all I wanted was to help my family, where I was like, I just want to take your sickness away. I remember being a little kid and just seeing sickness and just being like, can I just take that away from you? Like, how do I do that? And then it was like, well, I want to be a doctor when I grew up. First picture I ever drew, it was a picture of a little person with a little like red cross on their shirt, and they had the little, you know, the little mirror. It was like the little head mirror they would wear. And it was like, when I grow up, I want to be a docker. Docker. D-O-K-O-R, docker. You know, and a doctor. I actually still have that picture.
That's cool.
Yeah, I still have that picture. My stepmom framed it for me.
That is so cool.
When I grew up, I want to be a docker. And I think that's why. I think it was just looking around, just like, I want to alleviate some of the suffering that people face, you know? So that's, I think, what drives me. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I resonate with that a lot because that was like my own healing journey. I had an autoimmune disease that was terminal and terminal.
Yeah.
And when I figured out that it wasn't terminal, I was like, shit, how many other people are out there being told like you're totally fucked right now, and they're actually not.
That's right.
You know, so that was like a calling for me. And sometimes it's annoying because I wish I didn't have health problems or whatever.
Yeah.
But I look at my husband, and he's French, and he just like grew up with this, I don't know, stout genetics, and just not, you know, there's not a lot of like illness in his family. And he is, I think, like, honestly, he's gotten a cold maybe 3 times in the past 20 years we've been married. Like, he is just like a vital, healthy person who really has no health problems to speak of.
Wow.
He is not called to be an herbalist. He's not called to be a docker.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's just not his like path in life, you know.
Totally.
Although
So-
he's a PhD and a doctor.
Yeah, he does have a PhD in cognitive
Which just
psych.
means really, really smart. It means you know a whole lot of things about a little bit of things.
He would agree with you on that.
That's what PhD is, right? You know a lot about a little.
Yeah, he has a saying. He says, some of the stupidest people I know have PhDs.
Yeah, it's like, I know a whole about these things, but I know how to tie my shoes. Like,
Totally. Yeah, so, you know, there's that. But so I just resonate a lot with what you're saying. There's something to be said about just the wounded healer journey that we're all on.
The calling, and that's what it is, right? It's not logical. Like, the thing that brought you to herbal medicine is not a logical, linear, rational thing. It was I feel bad, I used herb. I feel better, I should help other people with that.
Yeah.
Basically is the
Basically that-
formula.
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, I should tell someone.
So what did you do?
Well, it was like layers upon layers. I was a vegan. and I drank a bottle of wine a night. So I think back then we didn't talk about intestinal permeability or leaky
Right.
gut.
Yeah.
But I have no doubt that's what was going on.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember part of my healing process was just laying in the sun. I lived in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a strong correlation with the vitamin D deficiency.
D deficiency.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think ultimately I was very poor. I had no money. So I went to all the student clinics. I went to Bastyr.
Yes.
Yeah, I did, naturopathy and acupuncture and took a lot of disgusting, Chinese medicine things.
Really bitter granules.
Oh man, I would do it over the sink. I'd have a glass of apple juice and a glass of the herbal tea.
Yeah.
They decocted. I bought like the whole pot and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I would do one and just pray that I could keep it down. And then I'd like chase it with the apple juice.
Yeah.
And I mean, it didn't always work. Sometimes I couldn't keep it down.
Yeah.
It was really, I think I could handle it now, but back then it was just too
They're
much.
pretty tough, man. Yeah, they don't sugarcoat their medicine.
But
yeah.
I ate so much soy. Oh my God. Like
Soy,
I ate the tofu, the soy milk, basically lived on soy and broccoli and wheat.
Yeah. So the gluten and the soy probably wasn't doing you
Probably
any
not
favors.
so great.
Yeah, right.
So, but it's like the doctors were just like, you're going to die. I mean, they really had no hope for me whatsoever.
Whoa. Wow.
And it was really the process of finding, naturopaths and herbalists and acupuncturists who were like, they didn't care that I had an autoimmune disease. And I would sometimes get annoyed about that. I'd be like, I have an autoimmune disease. But they're like, I don't care. Like they wanted to know like how often I pooped.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, people. Like,
Yes.
But
Well,
it
therein
took me
lies
a
the
while
difference.
to figure out like, they're trying to figure out who I am as a person.
Exactly.
And what is that? And so that was just a huge paradigm shift. And that really, it really was that process of healing that I was like, all right, I should probably help other people now.
Yeah.
I mean, not like that. I was very passionate about it. I was like, okay, like if I needed to hear this, I know other people needed to hear it.
Exactly. Well, and that's the shift, right? Like that, the allopathic versus holistic approach is like you're stuck. And I feel like so many of us get stuck in that allopathic way of thinking of use this for that. And what's the name of the disease? And then what's the treatment for that disease? And it's like, no, man, like you gotta that's a whole way of seeing things that doesn't work for herbal medicine, right? And it's like you can't take that model and impose it on herbal medicine, or else your herbal medicine's not going to really work that well.
I should have just said an herb when you said, what did you do?
Just
kidding.
Yeah, no, I took this one herb, and everyone listening is like, oh yeah, I'm going to use that for every autoimmune thing, Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, man. The autoimmune thing is that's what we're dealing with now. That's what we're dealing with is everybody's immune systems are all in a tizzy. And I think there's a lot of contributing factors to it, but yeah. And I think, I predict there's a lot of more things coming down the pike that we're never seen before. There's sicknesses we've never seen before that we're going to have to learn how to manage and how to deal with. There's things we don't even have a name for it yet.
Because we're being exposed to new things.
We're in a new world.
Yeah.
We're in a new world, man. Yeah. Like people are literally getting AI chips implanted into their brain. What the hell is that going to do?
Vaping is pretty new.
Vaping is pretty new.
Yeah.
Genetically modified organisms are pretty new. Yeah. IVF is pretty new. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot of stuff happening right now that's like, what's this going to do?
Yeah.
I don't know, but we're gonna have to figure it out. But luckily, the plants are one step ahead.
Amen.
They've already got it. The medicine's already there. Yeah.
Remember Kyle's time travel?
I'm thinking that too.
That was pretty wild.
Yeah, that was wild.
Tune into that episode here about. He was talking about time traveling plants.
Oh, nice.
So
I like it. Yes. It sounds like a very good thematic element for a high fantasy book.
So I think we've reached the lightning bug round. We were calling it firefly round.
We called it rapid round.
Rapid round.
Firefly.
Round. So these are quick
lightning
questions, quick answers.
I'll do my best to be quick.
Yeah, we got 5 of them. Thank you.
Let's get it.
So what's your favorite snack and drink when you stop at Sequential gas station in Eugene, Oregon?
Oh, West Coaster. Yeah, Sequential gas station. Well, I used to stop at Sequential all the time. I would get myself a 16-ounce latte with a little bit of maple syrup in it.
Okay, there you go. Ooh.
And then I'd probably just get myself a sandwich.
Nice.
Kind of like maybe a turkey sandwich or something.
All right.
Toasted.
Yeah.
Excessive amounts of mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Melt that cheese on there. We're good to go.
Amen.
Let's get back on the road and go.
Delish.
Next question.
You did excellent too.
Oh, what's the first and last concert you ever went to?
The first concert that I ever went to, so here it comes. The thing that no one knows about Sajah Popham is that I, in fact, am a metalhead. I like myself some deep, dark metal.
Maybe some doom?
So I think my first actual concert that I went to would be, and no one has probably ever heard of this band ever before, but they would be a Swedish death metal band by the name of Opeth.
I know them.
I am a very big Opeth. I am a very big Opeth fan.
Okay, yeah.
Because Opeth is progressive metal,
yeah.
and their songwriting is genius. Very, very good musicians.
You went and saw them.
I saw Opeth after Deliverance came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Back in like a long time ago. And it was a very small nightclub. I actually had to sneak out my window. I was a teenager and I had to sneak out to drive home because my parents wouldn't let me go. It was the one time I snuck out was to go see Opeth. That was my first concert. Last concert I went to was the last concert I went to would be an Australian progressive guitar player that I'm a quite big fan of by the name of Pliny. Plini.
Okay.
And it's just instrumental, progressive rock. But I'm a guitar player, so I can appreciate technical guitar playing. Very good. Very, very good.
I have to look up Pliny. Yeah.
I did want to say real quick, one of my best friends, Jimmy, he's been in multiple bands, metal bands throughout his life.
Oh, cool.
You say Opeth?
Yeah.
I used to live with him, and he would play them sometimes. So I'm not intimately familiar, but he loves that band.
They're very, very good. Their following is very strong. They were a revolutionary band for heavy metal.
Yeah.
Blue Vervain or Skullcap?
Blue Vervain. Ah, man, that's a
called
tough
it.
choice.
Or
It's a
we
tough
called it,
choice,
yeah.
though, because Blue Vervain's more the daily, like, I need to chill the F out.
Yeah.
I need to get work off my mind and relax. But long term, I like Skullcap, too. Yeah.
That was a good one.
But it's got to be fresh.
Yeah.
The Skullcap's got to be fresh.
Which book changed your life the most?
Does it have to be Herb book?
No?
Be Here Now.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Be Here Now, Ram Dass.
Ram Dass, yeah. Yep. I read that front to back multiple times.
Multiple
for sure.
times. Yeah. I think I was like 18 years old, and I probably ate a big handful of mushrooms, and I stared at Be Here Now.
Do you know this one?
And I was like, the artwork and the words, and woke something up.
I liked that first part, but I also liked the second part, which was more of like the rules. And, like talk about like how to sleep and eat and all that stuff. That was really cool. But yeah, big influence,
Yep, good book. But next to that, I would say Book of Herbal Wisdom, Matthew Wood.
Oh, nice, nice. Shout out Matthew Wood.
Yeah. He's here this weekend.
He sure is.
I haven't seen him yet.
I love Matthew.
Have you seen him this weekend?
I have.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
we had a good talk.
Nice.
Yeah,
Good.
we had a good quick talk. But yeah, me and Matthew have been very close. Ever since I graduated Bastyr, I started doing Matt Wood School back in 2008, 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie? There's a number. I mean, I'm trying to think because I don't watch a ton of movies.
I guessed that.
I like TV shows a little more than movies.
What's your
these
favorite
days.
TV show?
Well, I mean, I would say as far as movies go, one of my favorites that's popping in the top of my head is Inception
You seem like an Inception dude.
with Leo DiCaprio. I just love the dream aspect of it. Yeah, I mean, I tend to kind of like more psychological twists and turns. Mr. Nobody, I really enjoyed that. Jared Leto, that was very good. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, yeah, that was very good. I also really like the Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah.
And then, how could I forget? I mean, honestly, more than all of them, Forrest Gump.
Yep. I say Forrest Gump too. Yeah. I used to always say Fight Club, Forrest Gump. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I embarrassingly quote Forrest Gump all the time.
It's very quotable.
It's so good. Because you know why Forrest Gump is so good? Because in my opinion, the whole story of Forrest Gump is the story of a man who lives from the heart.
Yeah, I like that.
That is what Forrest
I'll do
Gump
this
is.
now.
He follows his heart.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
That's
It's
so
just
cool.
he follows his heart. He's maybe not so smart here, but he's genius here, and that's why he has a good life. It's the story of a
so
man
cool.
who lives a good life from the heart. I love it, dude.
That is
Every
so
time I
good.
watch it, I cry. I'm like a little weepy, little, just like, especially with the story with Jenny. It's just like, oh. Well, and that movie is very sentimental for me too, because there's the scene where when Forrest goes to visit Jenny in the apartment, and there's the little boy watching Bert and Ernie. Yeah. And he realizes that that's his son. And I remember watching that movie when I was a boy with my dad, and that scene always made my dad cry. And it's just like that movie's very full circle for me, because my father passed away when I was really young. And so then when I see that, it makes me think about my dad and the feeling that I had when I became a father. So that movie has there's that moment where I'm like, oh yeah, I know that feeling, and it makes me think about my dad too. So yeah, Forrest Gump, that's a good one. But TV shows, I would say Game of Thrones, definitely.
Is that the George Martin you were talking about?
Yeah.
The author?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so good.
Yeah,
It's
I still
so
haven't
good.
seen it.
What?
I'm old now. I know.
No, it's so good.
I'm usually 10 years behind on shows.
Okay, well,
and I
now's
watch it.
the
I'm like,
best
why
time
did
to get started now, man. It's so good.
We're hitting the decade anniversary.
Yeah,
here.
it's so good.
I love high fantasy so much, but too violent for me.
Too violent. Yeah, I mean, George Martin gets a little dark fantasy for sure. Yeah, it gets a little dark.
You like philosophy?
I do.
So I just have to ask, do you like The Matrix?
The Matrix. I mean, it's an interesting concept.
Looks like we're done with this interview. All right. Well, it's been great having you.
No, I do. I mean, I think it's a very interesting concept. It's just it gets a little too sci-fi for me, I think.
You know what's funny? I am also high fantasy. I don't love sci-fi.
Huh. But you love The Matrix.
I do love The Matrix.
Love The Matrix. Yeah. I mean, I think conceptually it's a super cool concept.
Most people don't understand that it is a philosophical show.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's easy to get involved with the guns and the whatever, action movie, but it's a highly philosophical show.
Totally.
I mean, it's basically living different philosophical thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. You redeemed yourself.
I can appreciate the philosophical conceptual nature of The Matrix. And it's not that far from the truth in the world we're living in right now, because to me, social media is the thing that's pulling everyone out of reality. I really think it is. Yeah.
Read a book called Ready Player One by, I want to say, Ernest Cline.
Yeah.
It felt very like fantasy, but it was definitely futuristic and sci-fi. But it's a world that we're probably going to be exposed to in the next decade.
Yeah.
It's basically everyone living in VR, and I was like, it was really interesting, but that kind of reminds me. Do you know about that book, or?
Was there a TV show about it?
Well, they made a movie on it.
Yeah.
But the book was way better, as usual. Did you read the book? Or?
I never read the book.
Gotcha.
No.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
But it doesn't seem too far from. I mean,
Yeah.
when you combine virtual reality with artificial intelligence, it's like that which disconnects us from nature.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like that's the. I mean, not to get overly religious and esoteric about it, but I mean that's the fall, man.
Yeah.
That's the Garden of Eden. This goes back to the Garden of Eden, and it's like the fruit from the tree of knowledge, and they took that fruit and they took a bite of it, and look on the back of all your phones. What's the symbol there?
Yeah, the apple. Yeah.
It's an apple with the bite taken out of it, and that's what that thing right there. That's what pulls us out of the garden. That's what pulls us out of nature. That's what pulls us out of. And everyone's too much here, and they don't even touch grass.
Yeah.
So.
I mainly liked all the 80s references in the book, but it was very fun for me, But yeah, so that was our rapid fire round. Or
Right. I was gonna dive into Morpheus and stuff. But we can move on. It's fine.
No.
Yeah.
Sage has been so generous with his time.
Hey.
At some point.
Well, I've really enjoyed myself. You guys, this is a really cool thing that you're doing, and it feels good to just be able to, we were kind of talking earlier. Sometimes you do interviews, and it's like this very explain your philosophy of herbal medicine.
Sure.
What is your remedy for this type of condition? And it's just cool to get a chance to kick back and hang out with you guys. And, hopefully have an interesting conversation for all of the viewers, and also to get to know all of us a little bit better, because maybe they don't know who we are or what we're about or what kind of people we are. This is who we are, right? We're off camera, we're on camera. This is who we are, and that's cool.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Speaking of getting to know who you are, though, like, man, you do so much shit, like, really. And we'd love to just give a big shout out to what you're doing, you know, like.
And feel free to discuss your exciting projects that are coming up if you want.
Oh.
These episodes are going to be released quasi-seldom, maybe once per month or something like that.
We're figuring that out.
Yeah, if you do want to talk about your exciting projects, and please tell us more about School of Evolutionary Herbalism, Plant Path.
Yeah.
What else?
I want to say Organic Unity because I'm old school.
I know, you are old school. Yeah, well, it
Sophia.
used to be Organic Unity. Now it's Natura Sophia Spagyrics. That's our product line.
Yep.
Make over 200 different spagyric extracts and formulas. And then the School of Evolutionary Herbalism, evolutionaryherbalism.com. And we got all of our Instagrams and Facebooks, and not on TikToks ever. And what else is there?
Well, we shouted out your podcast. We should do it again.
The Plant Path. Yeah, The Plant Path. So that's our podcast. And exciting projects. Well, I mean, I'm in the process of redoing a whole bunch of my online courses, because some of those videos are pretty old at this point.
So you mentioned that earlier, and that was just fun because I just redid Taste of Herbs, basically. And Taste of Herbs was created in 2013.
Okay.
And you said you were redoing courses that some of the stuff was from 2012.
Yeah.
So I just felt like, wow, Sage and I are kind of on a similar path right now.
2011, 2012, like back when I had dreadlocks, you know? So I'm redoing a lot of that coursework, which is a big project because a lot of my courses are like, 150 hours long. So it's a lot of work to refilm all that, but that's a big project. And then we're getting ready to build a farm. We got a whole physical land where we are starting an organic herb farm to be creating the herb material to create our spagyrics. So we're going to be building a manufacturing facility out there for our spagyrics. We're going to be creating a whole workshop space out there for teaching in-person workshops for School of Evolutionary Herbalism and a clinic. So it's kind of an integrative herbal model.
You're going to be teaching in person.
I'm going to be teaching in person.
I remember you made an announcement this year that you were like excited to do more in person.
I am, yeah. And I'm doing my first live in-person workshop in October of 2025 in Boone, North Carolina.
That's right. That's what the announcement was.
My first 4-day workshop, which is like first one I've done in a while.
Who's having you out there, or is it
The Art of Living?
Okay.
Yeah, the Art of Living Retreat Center.
Cool.
Which looks like a pretty sweet spot.
Nice.
So yeah, that's all the big stuff. So it's like integrative herb model, like the farm, the lab, the school, the clinic. Those are kind of the 4 layers of what that place is going to be all about, and we're excited to build it out, get it set up, have some people out, and try to keep on keeping on.
I love it.
And your vision is just so inspiring and fun, and part of what we do before we have a guest like yourself on is we stalk them online, and just kind of we do at least an hour, sometimes 2, just really like diving in, figuring out the questions, and just kind of like steeping ourselves in what is Sajah Popham. And today we were both like, we know he lives in Western Washington, but where is that exactly? And so we stalked you until we figured that out. And then I mapped it, and I was like, fuck, dude, we're like 2 hours from each other. And like you said once, that like if we both weren't hermits, we would like be friends.
That's right.
Closer friends.
That's right.
I'll just say that. But then when I saw that we were only 2 hours from each other, I was like, that's embarrassing.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. And now you're doing in-person stuff, so
yes.
I'm just gonna like vulnerably put it out there that we should probably hang out more.
We should hang out more. That'd be
there
great.
Might be some quasi.
You should text him first, though.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Thank you.
Yeah, before you get after me and start judging me and blaming me for not reaching out to you, just remember you didn't reach out to me too.
He's like my friend wingman right here. Yeah, I'm Mr. Extrovert helping me like get out. Yeah, there might be some quasi plans to see in the spring, but we'll like tell you about that later.
Love it, man. It's great. Yeah, no, we live way out in the country, and I was saying earlier, sometimes I'll go 2 months without even leaving the property.
I brag that I go 2 weeks without going to
2
town.
weeks, yeah.
So the 2
sometimes I've gone
was
2
like,
months.
wow.
I've gone 2 months
Literally.
without leaving my
So
property.
you are
Yeah.
actually a hermit.
Yeah, I'm very much a hermit. I see my wife, I see my children, I see my.
It'll probably be
my
good for
office.
you if I come visit.
It'd probably be good.
Whitney would be happy to
We'd
see
enjoy
me.
it. Whitney would love to see you.
I'm a great
Yeah.
auntie. Love the kiddos.
I'm sure you would be
I
great with the
love
kids.
other people's kids.
It's good for our kids to see other people too. It's good for our kids to see other people too.
that's
so.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well, just insert myself into your life like
Let's
that.
do it. That's great. We love it.
And now the final question.
Now the final question.
Oh.
Which we chose, I forgot.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm on it.
Okay, good. Thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work.
There you go.
All right. I'm going to read this.
Here we go.
All right. So you've written that herbalists see plants as healers and as teachers. Do you resonate with that still? It's not something
I
you wrote?
do,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
100%.
Can you expand on a personal teaching you've received from a plant recently? Or ever, no pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's kind of a few different ways that I think of that concept of plant as teacher. On the one hand, I think there's an esoteric aspect of it where it's about, in my own self, me as herbalist engaging with the plant and learning about the plant from the plant itself. Sitting with the plant, making offerings to the plant, praying to the plant, observing the plant through its life cycle, and then learning from it that way. But then there's also, and this is something that I always like to talk about, which is the importance of our knowledge of herbal medicine to be balanced with our understanding of herbal medicine. So intellectual knowledge balanced with experiential understanding, and that it's through experiencing a plant that we learn directly from the plant, that the plant is our teacher, right? And so to me, that's a lot of what that's all about. And I think each plant kind of teaches about itself. Like each plant teaches you through your experience how to best use it, just through clinical experience, through giving the plant to someone and you see what it does and what it doesn't do and when it works and when it doesn't work. And through that you learn and the plant teaches you that way, right? But I think there's also, for me, I think plants don't just heal us. They don't just fix what's broken, but I think they can also bring in a certain quality that we're striving to develop. And I think like one big plant that comes to my mind for this would be calamus root, Acorus calamus, which is, that herb really changed my life because, a lot of people get surprised when they learn that I'm actually an introvert. That I'm actually like pretty shy and
Dude, you just said you don't leave your house for 2 months.
Yeah, right.
This is not shocking.
Yeah. But I think because people think I'm like shooting videos and I'm online and I'm doing all this stuff, there's like, oh, he must just be like a total extrovert. And it's like, nah, I'm actually not. And, in my 20s, it was really bad. Like I literally was so scared to speak and to talk and to... I could not translate my inner world into words. I couldn't do it. I was so scared. And it wasn't until I really started working with calamus in a really deep way that I learned how to put my power behind my word and feel what I'm feeling and allow those feelings to turn into words and then to be able to put that into language and express it and to feel like I could take what's on the inside and put it on the outside through language. And I feel like I feel like I've always had so much going on inside of me that I didn't really know how to put it to words. And it was calamus, man. That calamus is a powerful plant. And I used to take it every day. I would sit with it. I would pray with it. I would focus on this. I want to learn how to speak. I want to learn how to speak. I feel like I have something that I want to share with the world, and I'm so scared to do it, and I'm so lacking confidence, and I'm so shy and I'm so introverted, and I just want to I don't want to be that way. I was just like, I don't want to be that way. I want to embody a different state of being, and calamus really helped me to do that. And I feel like in that way it taught me a lot. And I feel like I owe a lot of kind of what kind of person I've turned into because of that plant in a lot of ways. Like, I probably wouldn't be doing what I do today if I hadn't worked with that plant.
Wow.
So, yeah. Calamus, good one.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with it a little bit, but not to the degree that you have. And you're inspiring me to want to work with it a little bit more. You know, like Jim McDonald's a big fan of it, and I would like
sure is.
chew on the root a little bit because of his influence. And
Yeah.
fortunately, I worked for Mountain Rose Herbs for 11 years, so I had access to a lot of it.
Yeah.
So I'd chew on it here and there. And I remember one time, KP Khalsa, have you studied with him at all? Or
A small amount,
little
yeah.
bit? Yeah, one time I remember him talking about this one kid who'd never talked to his parents ever. Like, even like, he might have been 5, 6, 7, 8. I might be not remembering the story completely accurately, but KP Khalsa was working with this kid, and eventually, you know, he started taking calamus. And after a certain amount of time of working with him, one day he just looked at his parents and said, "I love you." And then after that, he just, you know, like, it's so fucking cool.
Dang,
like,
man,
yeah,
that's
and I,
powerful
I
story.
really like. I want to say KP said something about like, yeah, it brings like your heart to your voice, and that's exactly the intention I had behind it when I started working with it too. Because I, like you, like, you know, yeah, people see me as well as like this like gregarious, like outgoing guy or whatever, but I definitely have like what am I trying to say? Introverted tendencies and shyness, etc. And yeah, I think it probably was helpful. Maybe I'm not giving calamus enough credit for it. You know what I mean? I should probably give it more credit, but because every time I do work with it, that's my intention.
Yeah.
But it does make me want to take another deep dive again and work with it some more. But I don't know. Like, that was an incredible way to end it. Like, we should probably end it more eloquently than with my story. But
It's a good story.
I
though.
did.
No, it's good.
I did want to ask, because Jim McDonald has a brilliant blog post or article on it, which we could link to in the podcast show notes. He talks a lot about like the fear of toxicity with calamus or whatever. And I don't know if you have any input on that. Like, actually, your Emily, not your Emily, but Emily, who you work with, she bought your calamus spagyric this weekend, I want to say. It just called to her, and I don't remember her intention behind it. But I don't know if there's any sort of like, and then we could end on like something more eloquent from Sajah as we wrap up and get out of here. But is there any like toxicity concerns or?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting question.
Yeah.
I mean, from my understanding, the Ayurvedic species of calamus, which would be Acorus calamus, tends to have higher levels of beta-acerone, which is the compound that is said to, over time, have a degree of hepatotoxicity. Now, the American calamus, which I believe is Acorus americanus, is that correct? Damn. Has lesser amounts of beta-acerone, but apparently it's harder to come by than the... so this is where I start to mix things up a little bit. But I mean, it's an interesting question, because it's like, okay, well, here, Ayurvedic medicine, they've been using it for a really long time. Do they have any things where they say that it's potentially toxic? I haven't really seen anything
Probably
about
don't
it.
use it like as an essential oil.
Well, and that's the thing, is what form is it being used? So they were probably using it as a powder or as a water extract.
Yeah.
They're not using it as an ultra concentrated tincture. They're definitely not using a distilled volatile oil of it, right? So I think, so I mean, you know, David Winston generally tends to recommend not using it long term.
Gotcha.
Which I tend to, you know, I would default to what he has to say about it, because he's more experienced than I am. So I, you know, if I give people calamus, I usually don't want them taking it much longer than 6 weeks.
Cool.
And then I'm just like, yeah, take it for 6 weeks, then take a little break. Take a break. Give it a little time.
As someone who loves calamus, because I've been inspired to love calamus through Jim, and Karen Sanders was on my show talking about calamus too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Ah, we have a recurring theme here.
It was calamus was my plant ally last year, because it kept coming up so much. I was like, okay. But I can't imagine really wanting to work with it consistently and in large amounts for more than 6 weeks.
No, it's strong. I mean, it's a very strong
Like, it
medicine.
just like inherently is not something I would be called to do.
And you don't need much of it too. Like, I don't tell people, I'm not like, dude, don't be taking 5 mils of calamus. Or, like, of tincture, like 10 drops is
Yeah.
more than enough, in my opinion. I don't think you need to take very much of it because it's potent. It's good. Yeah, it's a very good plant. I like it very much.
It was one of the main theses I remember from the Jim McDonald article was, experimentation on animals and stuff like that. And we're not working with it in the same way that they were testing in the laboratory or whatever with, rats or whatever. But I think it's the Mountain Rose herbs in me. After working there for 11 years, I'm very much like talking about, claims and stuff like that.
Totally. Yeah,
but
totally.
But
I mean, I ultimately have in a lot of ways pulled it.
really,
Yeah, because I don't think the FDA wants you selling it
right.
for internal use at
Sure.
least.
Yeah, which we sold at Mountain Rose Herbs. I'm pretty sure, at least back in the day, it said not for internal.
Not for
use.
internal use. That's
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Yeah,
You
but
gotta
I would
cover
chew the
you gotta-
shit out of that root.
You got to cover your ass, man. Yeah. But most people that know, they know.
Yeah.
You can take a little bit of it.
Well, now how do we wrap up? Just say something, completely.
Well,
profound.
I think
get us
that,
out of here. Sam.
Well,
No,
I
I'm just
think
kidding.
what you guys are doing is really, really great. I think it is fantastic for all of the herbalists to come together and to collect together as one, to share what we've learned over the years with one another collectively, to encourage and support and uplift one another. That's what it's all about, man. Like you were talking about earlier, the way John was. It's not about competition. It's about collaboration. It's about coming together to support one another and to learn from one another and to uplift and encourage one another. Because let's face it, there's not that many of us, man. Like we should all be supportive of each other, and that's what I'm all about. I can see that's what you all are all about, and I think that the collaboration, this action of working with someone to produce or create something, that's pretty awesome.
We didn't bring that. That was here.
That was just right there. Collaboration, perfect. And I think that's what's occurring here at the International Herb Symposium this weekend. I see that the people here have good hearts, and I see that the people here are doing what they can and know how to do to make a good impact on their community, on their family, on their clinic, on the world as a whole. And I think that's the good way. I think that's a good way for us to all think about ourselves and each other and how to move forward in a good way. And just being encouraging and supportive, because we all need that from time to time, Yeah. Even the people that are leaders, even the people that are like on the stage, even the people that are like, you see them and the people that we all look up to. It's like, maybe like they need some encouragement too, Like maybe like I was saying that to David earlier today. I was talking to David Winston. I said, hey, thank you very much. And you're doing a really good job. You're doing a good job. Thank you very much. Keep going. Like I encourage you. Like I think we all need that, I think it's good. So anyways, that's what I think that's how I would like to close. And thank you both very much for inviting me over here. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for hanging with us. That was really great.
great,
We would have never created this experience at the vendor hall.
I
feel like
there's no way this could
I feel
happen.
very privileged and blessed that you came over here to hang out with us. This is really great. It's been a long time since we've hung out. It's really nice.
It felt really good. Yeah. And definitely let me know. I want to share it with all my people.
That'd be amazing.
So.
That'd be amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Sajah.
Thank you, Sajah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
See you in the next episode.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Herbalists After Hours. If you enjoyed this episode, then we know you're gonna love this one.
You're also going to love this one. And if you enjoyed today's episode, pretty please go ahead and give it a big old thumbs up. Also, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment below with any takeaways you may have had.
And don't miss a thing with us. Head over to folkmethodology.com and join our newsletter.
See you in the next episode.